The gray rain curtain of this world rolls back, and all turns to silver green. And then you see it, white shores and beyond a far green country under a swift sunrise. This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is dedicated to the memory of Ian Holm. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez.
And I'm Lane.
And I'm Bill Joe Baggins at your service.
And we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, and a little village called Amanda.
Wow. And just, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can hear the birds chirping, and the sun is shining, and I'm not sure if you can hear the sun shining or not, but it's definitely...
If you listen close enough,
I think you can
pick it up.
You should be able to hear it.
There it
is. Yeah, there it is, the semi going by. We have our good friend Bill Joe Baggins with us. Joe Lewis, how's it going, buddy?
I couldn't be happier, my friends.
Good. Well, this is... I do want to do this. So I know I did it on the live, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. You know that was all just... this whole setup process taking such a long time was literally me not wanting to end this podcast and not wanting to have this come to an end. And also, it felt fitting to take 5 hours to set up, you know? I figured
that is full circle in a way. We talked last time about full circle, ring, cyclical, story that happens. And it's funny because I'm thinking about Peter Jackson, right? It was a famous event that the very last thing they filmed was with Elijah Wood. They had the scene. They had had the scene for like 10 or 15 takes, and he just kept saying, "And one more." Okay, that's great. That's great, Elijah. Just let's do one more time. Yeah, one more. Like he didn't want it to stop.
Yeah.
And I see it in your face, my friend. We're looking at you, and I can see you.
I've been
emotional. Don't want this episode to be here.
Yeah.
I didn't actually. So here, full disclosure and clarity, and I didn't actually finish reading this chapter.
That's how much you...
Last page and a half, and I put it off until this morning. Last page and a half, I just didn't read because I'm like, man, I don't think I'm going to finish it. I don't want to. Some things are, I don't know. Yeah, that's hard. It's difficult.
It's hard, man.
It's been 2.5 years, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we are so honored, though, to have our good friend.
Huge.
We really are.
Pleasure's all mine.
I think we were walking around, and like Joe and I were talking, it's just like, you said this, and I truly think it needs repeating. It's very important. Coming here to the Shire of America, we say this at the beginning of every podcast. It's always been like, welcome to Amanda, right? The Shire of America. It truly is, and especially here at Lane's house. Mm-hmm. Joe, there's joy here, man. There's little hobbits running around. Yeah. There's good greenery out here. The grass looks good, well clipped.
Got to trim.
Little garden back here.
Little garden. Yep.
Yeah.
We had some good food, right? We've
good
had some
food.
Good drink.
Yep.
We're having a good smoke. We're having a good sniff of air.
Yes.
And there's three of us, right? End of this chapter, there's three hobbits that go home.
That's
and
right.
they're comforted because they have each other, right?
And I'm so glad we have each other.
Oh my gosh.
Could not do this on my own.
Oh, man.
Lord bless us, right? I mean, it's an honor having Joe here. I mean, I think it was... I was trying to remember talking to Ez. Did I ask you if you would want to come on this final chapter like almost a year ago?
Yeah,
I feel like it's been a long
time.
time.
We talked about it a little while back because when you had first talked about the last chapter, I think it was well over a year ago, you said, I think it would be cool if you came and read it with us. And I was like, I'd be honored.
Just felt like it was fitting. You're old friend of mine. Old friend of ours. You've been with us through a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You embody Bilbo Baggins himself. I mean, if you could read this chapter with anyone other than Frodo, it would be Bilbo. And so it's awesome. And we haven't seen you you got a lot of stuff going on in your life. Your Hobbit. I can see that your Hobbit feet. That one of them has a little more ink than last we met.
Yeah.
This chapter, a very important character of ours, with the aid of his friend, you want to move in with me? You want to get married to Rosie? Why don't you do both? Just get the job done and then come move in.
That's
There's
right.
plenty of room for kids. And you yourself are in a similar situation right now, my friend.
I am.
So tell us about your life. What's going on?
Yeah, so just a couple weeks ago, got engaged to the love of my life I met in college.
Cheers, man. Here.
College
Here. Yes.
I met Lane and Nez.
It's awesome.
And couldn't be happier. Super excited. Got engaged a couple weeks ago and then moved up to her neck of the woods in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, North
last
Farthing,
week,
man.
and
North Farthing.
North Farthing, indeed.
Yeah.
Got excellent ales. 1420 was an amazing year.
Already.
So, but the awesome thing too is that people were at the LEP 2.
Yeah.
Last year was the second one, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
LEP 2, they got to meet this young lady.
Yeah. Anybody
So
that was
Annalise
at
was there.
LEP2, she was there.
Yes. So so just good times for you, my friend. New beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
This like beginning of your life together. It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's exciting.
That's
Thanks,
awesome,
guys.
man. Congrats. That's really, really awesome. And so I'm glad you brought this up because I want to ask you guys a question. How does one acquire one of these Rosies?
A phone book. You look
Oh.
in their first name for Rose or Rosie.
Oh, okay.
And you just go down the list.
Just go on the list and just
Yeah.
make the call.
My fiance's name is Annalise, but I just call her Rosie, and that's
I
how
see.
it worked.
I see.
I almost think I think that and not to be too serious here. I think that your Rosie's got to find you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think you're not. I think the way you're doing it, my friend,
Yeah.
is the way to do it.
Yeah.
I
see.
wasn't looking for
see.
Sarah. Were you looking for Annalise?
No, she honestly initiated a lot of it.
Okay,
See?
guys, that's what I
So-
wanted to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because I like my whole we have similar stories. I don't know if you mind me sharing this,
No,
but
no,
like
no. You're
my
good.
whole life, even I was that weird little kid who was in second grade and I was like, I'm looking for my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Same.
one of the, it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
wow, what a weirdo. Yeah, I guess maybe, but I'm like someone who loves and loves deeply. We've had conversations for a long time where it's
Yeah.
like, man, I really care about this girl, and I just don't know if she, young lady, woman, not getting the same kind of vibes. Am I doing something wrong? What is it? Is it me? It's like, no, it's not. Just because you love deeply, it might not necessarily be a good match. So, but anyway, my whole life, I wanted my Rosie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't call the concept of true love. I didn't call it that then, but it was after I came back from New Zealand, graduated school, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of, for the once in my life, I'm not gonna worry about finding a girlfriend. I'm not gonna worry about any of these. I'm gonna invest in myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to know myself better because I want to be ready when I do find this woman to not have any questions or doubts about who I am.
Yeah.
And when I think of people who know themselves truly, I think of you, Ezra. So,
Oh, yeah. I
I
was
mean,
just about
that's
to
the
say
cool
the
thing.
same
Like
thing.
they come out of the blue, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Or ours did anyway. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, my fiance, it still seems weird to say that. I'd known her for about 10 years.
yeah.
And it really wasn't until about a year and a half ago that we actually started talking more. And it was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. And yeah, I mean, very similar to what Lane was saying. Like, I had just kind of said, you know what, I had tried very desperately to find somebody, and I had made compromises just to be in a relationship, and that wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But when I finally just gave up and said, I'm just going to live my life and let it come, it finally did, and it just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen for you because you have a lot to offer.
Well, hey, you know what? I appreciate that.
But
And
don't
that's
give
what
up
I'm
on the
hoping.
phone book either. I mean, if you
The
want
phone
to
book's a
start,
great idea too. Okay. Okay. So what I'm hearing is it's unexpected. You know, kind of as it was
is
unexpected.
unexpected.
You know,
Unexpected
kinda, yeah.
indeed.
and I think that makes it only sweeter. Man,
Yeah.
could you find a better night?
This is great.
This is
cool
perfection.
Can I just say, I also planned this so that it was a little bit later.
Yeah,
I
sure.
knew the breeze would be here.
A little cooler.
That was good
Great,
planning on
right?
your part.
That's
the
what I thought.
rustling of the leaves, the chirping
Just
of the
like
birds.
to pretend not to like be
Yeah.
able to know how to do certain things.
I was rushing around, didn't know how to put the equipment together.
No, that was all an act.
Oh, goodness.
No, that
So,
was good.
but yeah, so this is neat. This is it though. This is the we're at the end, and it's unbelievable. This is an unexpected podcast. I was not expecting to. Never thought I'd start. If you asked me what has it been, 2.5 years?
2.5 years. Wow.
Something like that.
It was before when he was born.
Goodness. So about 3, I think it was about 3 just plus years where Lane and I started kind of, again, like texting and talking and everything. And I just never would have thought that I'd be here, that I'd be Uncle Ez, that I'd get to see Winnie and Charlotte grow up and meet old friends again and rekindle friendships. It's unbelievable. And this podcast has just brought so much joy to me. And it's just, I don't know. I'm real. It's, again, we have more. Obviously we're going to get into the Hobbit, and I talked to Joe about the Hobbit and everything, and maybe even covering the show a little bit. But this is like to start off and say you're going to get through the Lord of the Rings series. You're going to start with the first book, and then you're going to get all the way to the end, do it chapter by chapter. It was a task. It was a goal you set out. And really we kind of said, if we could just do that, we'd be satisfied.
Yeah. I didn't think we'd make it out of book 1.
I am shocked. I am so happy.
Me personally, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to stick with this. It's just like it's a task that, especially when we started realizing that the length of our episodes were not going to be shorter than 2 hours.
No, there's
when
no
we were
way.
like, we can't really go under 2.
Which, kind of somewhat full circle, it's a little over 2 hours to get from Columbus to Toledo. So
you've been able to listen, right?
I could listen to
right.
episodes each way, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely, the book club is definitely built for commuters and long drives.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I deliver coffee at my last job, too. So it was
delivery.
perfect.
Yep, deliveries. That's
right.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but dude, it's been an amazing journey. We were talking about this, it's like, Winnie hadn't even been born when we hatched this idea. Sarah was pregnant with her. It was in August, I believe. We sat down at the coffee shop in Lancaster.
Gosh,
and
it was.
Yeah, went to the well, got some coffee, got some lunch, and just started sort of hatching a dream. And it's crazy, man. Like, we're in the process of, finishing a studio in the garage.
Yeah.
We're able to film, and we got lights, and
I know.
we got our friends over, and we're finishing this last chapter. It's
crazy.
yeah, it's definitely
Surreal.
cause for pause and celebration, and just definitely a feeling of accomplishment too. And so I want to thank you, Joe, for being here tonight too, because we were originally supposed to do this like next week after, and I was like, man, is there any way you could do sooner? Because I don't know how much longer Sarah's going to last, and I just really wanted to. It's important to me, if possible, to be able to get this done before Crotch Route number 3 comes, because I know it's because I know it's just going to be insane. And so I really, it's like, and it couldn't be any other way. This is perfect. So
it is my distinct pleasure. I've loved being able to do stuff with you guys, and
fingers.
It's been very special just to be able to be part of the legacy that is UP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are we good? Are we doing a little something here? What's going on here? Did you just kiss my hand?
Lane just kissed each of
This
our
is
hands
unbelievable.
individually.
And again, this is exactly why you have to subscribe to YouTube.
You got to be unexpected. You got to be unexpected.
Yes.
Goodness.
Well, so here's what we can kind of do. We got a lot of stuff. It's nice that this chapter is shorter, although I would not say uneventful. I had kind of forgotten too how many times people get on Peter Jackson. Man, there are so many endings to that movie, and I'm reading this. I'm like, even just in this chapter, there are quite a few places you go, okay, well, that's the end. Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end. All right. Well, the passing of the book. The even before that, the restoration of the Shire. You didn't have to keep going. And he
right. Pass it back. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys. Remember to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time. No. So anyway, it's nice that we can kind of take a little time before too as well. So, as you've been doing well.
Yeah,
I've been doing good.
Yeah,
it's great. We're gonna spend all this time talking about Joe because he's the man. And we just I feel like I just saw you last night.
Yeah, I think we recorded last night. Didn't we?
Is this the fastest turnaround we've ever had?
Absolutely.
Without doing back to back.
Well, unless we were planning on doing like a. But this was unexpected, which is fitting.
We need a new word.
As often as I can, I'm going to weave it in. I'm sorry. And if I could say full circle and ring symbolism, anywhere I could throw that in, I'm going to. So
Nate would like if you said to completion, I think, probably.
To completion.
Our buddy Nate Muller.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not yet. We'll save that for the end. We're there.
The work is never done, my friend.
Uh-huh. But yeah, actually, I think Joe kind of said, I don't know where you want to go with this, but I mean, on the way down here, but before we get into everything else, he had thoughts on previous chapters. We had thoughts on
So we can do Drop and Eves if you want. Talk about the Amazon show.
Yeah.
We could even talk about other corners of Middle Earth. You talked about some interest in that Gollum game. So I'll lead us through here. We'll get to all that stuff.
Sounds great.
So the Amazon show, check our last episode for most recent news, unless they've started filming in the amount of time that it takes to upload this between when we've recorded it or not. We talked about the possibility that New Zealand is pretty clear from COVID-19. They've handled it really well, and they've been able to kind of eradicate it from the country with a really minimal loss of life. So the next question is, well, does that mean that they're going to start testing actors, producers, directors, writers, and get them all back to New Zealand and start the show back filming again so that they could, obviously release this as soon as possible?
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking like fall of next year. So fall of 2021 is kind of the rumored projection date we've heard. So we got a little bit of time, still a year and a half, but not a lot of time if you think about it, to depending on how many episodes are in season 1. There was a report a long time ago. We talked about 22.
20? Yeah.
I think if they filmed 2 and took a break and they were planning a hiatus anyway, I think it's going to be more like 10.
Right.
I think 22 almost kind of seems ridiculous now. That's like a sitcom. It's like The Office has 22 episodes in a season. Not like, Game of Thrones or Westworld or like more of what the genre we're talking about. So we don't even know how long episodes would be. I'm guessing maybe an hour. But anyway, so so anyway, that's projected when it will come out next fall. So do you know the premise? It's going to be in the Second Age. Mm-hmm. We've heard, and that's really about all we know. We've had some castings that are revealing. Galadriel is confirmed.
Ooh, who's playing Galadriel?
What is her name? Morfrid.
I can look it up.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I've
know
never
that
seen.
Sauron was cast, correct?
Well, that's kind of debatable. He hasn't been announced. But there are a couple actors that could play Anatar / Sauron.
Yes.
But we don't necessarily know which one of them will be. They've been incredibly secretive. Mm-hmm. So I guess really, like, what would you want to see out of the show? What are you excited for? We actually had a conversation about staying kind of ignorant to stuff.
Yeah.
Intentionally. So
yeah. So I, cards on the table. I feel a little bit of a poser. I have not read all of The Lord of the Rings.
I love that you're saying this. Yeah.
You're
not a poser.
I'm. Well, I am.
You're
an
impersonator, but you're not a.
Yeah. That's what you did there. No, I do not know as much of the history stuff that would have taken place in the Second Age, because all of
neither do I.
The Lord of the Rings takes place during the Third Age, I believe.
Yeah.
And the end of this book is the end of the Third Age.
Right.
I believe. I just wanted to sound like I knew.
No, that was good. That was good.
I believe you're correct.
And so, I love the movies. That's sort of the foundation of my knowledge of the Tolkien verse. And I would love to see that world expanded upon on the screen. I love the possibilities of the Tolkien universe expanded in a TV series.
Yes.
I think it opens up a lot more possibilities of stuff that they can do. They can go into more depth with certain things that you're not, limited to with a movie. Like, obviously, the movies are amazing, but with the platform of TV series, there's just a lot more that you can do. You're not as restricted to time.
Yes.
And I personally, like Lane was talking about, with some things, I intentionally try to stay away from any sort of spoilers or news or anything like that on movies or TV series that I'm really excited about, because I think it makes the initial viewing of that experience that much more satisfying when you go into it completely
spoiler
blind.
free.
Yeah. So the only things that I know are just a few snippets that I've heard. I haven't actively looked stuff up.
I love that. Because honestly, if it wasn't for the podcast, I think I would have the same exact path.
Yeah.
And even though we're talking about this kind of stuff, I am going to stay as I'm not going to obsess over it.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine too if not obsess over it, but I don't know, actively pursue the knowledge, actively pursue the stories. That's great too. I think we need people, we need uppers, we need friends that are doing that as well. For me though, we'll talk about it on the podcast. I'll look it up in between. If someone notifies us of something, I'll look into it. But I also want to recapture that feeling. I think what you're talking about too is recapturing that feeling of going into the theater and discovering.
Oh yeah.
And being like, what? Like I have a feeling that there'll be an aspect of that comes alive. When I see the show, I'll be like, all right, wow. Well, I need to know. I want to know more.
And from there,
And from there, it's a great spark. And we've been talking about like younger Tolkien fans.
Yeah.
And kids who are coming into Middle Earth for the first time. And we've been speaking about how this show for them could be what the movies were for us. Like the Bakshi film was for others who were older than us.
Yes.
Like the books were when there were no adaptations. So that's exciting too because the fandom will increase.
Yeah.
And you'll have kids and you'll have adults. I mean, there's some adults who have never seen Lord of the Rings who might watch this show and go, wow. Right. All right, got to give those movies a try. I thought it was just kind of goofy and ridiculous.
Yeah.
If it's like this, I'm in, man. So,
yeah. Well, I like one of the bywaters from a few episodes back, the guy had talked about that feeling of going to the midnight premieres and just the rush that
That's
exists.
you all over. You love that stuff.
I did that for all of them. Me, I was like I think when Fellowship came out, I think I was in 8th grade or freshman year, and I remember going with a group of my friends, and I was like, this is amazing. There's like this rush that comes with like a premiere that you're like, oh, this is awesome. And I think it'll be cool. It'll be a little bit of a different feel in the format of a TV series, but we can have like watch parties.
Yes.
Like that will still be just as exciting to me. And just, oh man, I'm psyched.
And I'm excited that, you're touching on that earlier, the fact that TV shows, you get a little more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Movies, it's like, well, with Lord of the Rings, it's 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but it's boom. That's once a year for a couple years, and then it's done.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so a TV show, and that's one of the rumors at the very beginning. I don't think it was a rumor. It was just kind of like they didn't know what they were going to do exactly, but was a Lord of the Rings TV show adaptation. And at first, I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, hold on a minute. You could do 6 seasons because there's 6 books, and every chapter could be an episode.
Ooh.
And then you could get into the nitty gritty. You could really, like,
Tom Bombadil could
get
make
to know
an
Tom
appearance.
Bombadil. You could actually do the scouring of the Shire justice.
Man,
Just all the little things that get kind of lost. Hanbury Han, you could throw in there and actually get to discover the Druidon. So just little things that you read the book and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But I'm looking forward to that, experiencing that through the Silmarillion. I think that'll be really, really cool and drive us to read and bring more kids along as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. That's beautiful stuff. Now, other corners of Middle Earth, we recently talked about a Gollum video game. And this got us into a conversation. We were sitting here grilling meats, and we were giddy as schoolboys.
Oh, my God.
Getting ready to open a brand new game and crack open the PS, whatever it was, like 1 or 2 when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
And play something brand new. So this Gollum video game, we don't know much about. There have been some concept artwork released, as well as some comments and teases on how the game is going to be, like the format, I guess, of the video game. So, but we were talking about how it's going to be hit or miss, but either way, it's intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
What are your feelings on the potential of this Gollum game?
So, based on what you guys were talking about a couple episodes ago, the type of game that it is, not like a campaign game like Battle for Middle of Earth or stuff like that. If it's like a one-player sort of adventure mode sort of game, that's my forte. Those are the kind of games I like. I love those kind of games. I love the idea of having a storyline that is adaptable based on the decisions that you make. Almost like a choose-your-own-adventure sort of thing.
the books almost, where you choose your own ending and then that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And to really go in-depth with the just intriguing character that is Smeagol.
Yeah.
I am so excited about this, but also taking an original take.
Yes.
Like from what you guys were saying,
It won't be based on the film.
No.
It's going to be based mostly on the book, but there's going to be a lot of flexibility, and storyline can change, and you're going to be shocked. You're going to be scared. Yeah.
Oh
I think I agree, man. The potential is huge. So you're going to play this when it comes out.
I am. We were joking earlier. I might start like a Twitch account and just like
Come on.
review the game in Smeagol voice. Like, why is this precious? That's a really bad impression, but you catch my drift. It'll be fun.
That sounded actually like Bilbo Baggins impersonating Gollum.
Oh, that's precious.
Is that what you were going for? Because that's perfect.
I guess something like that.
Yeah. It actually kind of sounded like Joe Lewis impersonating Bilbo Baggins, impersonating Gollum.
Wow.
That was actually what I was going for.
Wow.
That's tough.
You
Very
got
meta.
something there, bro.
It's like triple,
You got the triple impression.
3 layers.
Impression precious. Wow, that did not sound like Gollum or Smeagol. All right.
Tried.
That's awesome, dude. And we were also talking about like video games from the past. Do you have any other Lord of the Rings games that you played? And so, because we're also, this is a little teaser. When we get into the Hobbit, we plan on having Ezra's great friend Matt Brady on, and he's a huge gamer. He actually even has a gaming podcast called Box Trick.
Ooh, nice.
And he's expressed interest in wanting to come on and just he's like, Les, I just want to ask Lane what Lord of the Rings games he was into, because I played Fellowship of the Ring. It's my favorite. Was it Vivendi Games? I think it was, and it was based on the books, right?
Yes.
Not based on the movies. Then at the same time, Two Towers was released, which was an EA game based on the films. Actors' voices used, music from the movie clips, and at that point, I don't think any games had done that. It was groundbreaking. Viggo Mortensen voicing Aragorn and narrating it, like it was legit. Unlockable characters.
Yeah.
Interviews that you could unlock. Return of the King was the same way. Wasn't as good in my opinion. Return of the King was really good too. Battle for Middle-earth, where it was real-time strategy. If you like Age of Empires and you like Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth came out. There were even a couple of those. And then now you got new ones that are there were a couple in between. Aragorn's Quest was a more child-friendly one, also featuring Sean Astin's voice as Sam, telling a story about the King of Gondor, Aragorn, coming back and visiting the Shire and having a party and giving his blessing. And it was just like a quest where you leveled up Aragorn.
Yeah.
Haven't played it. I would like to, I think, but I don't have time right now. But and then even more recently, like the Shadow of Mordor games.
Yes, which I've heard amazing.
They are. I have one of them. I'm terrible at it, so it's not. It's kind of hard to play, but it features, I can't remember the main character's name, which is terrible, but Celebrimbor is in it. One of the elven ringsmiths.
Oh yeah.
So and he's in.
I couldn't believe this when he told me.
Yeah, he's in wraith form.
What?
So there's like some lore hidden in there, and I don't know. See, I don't know it well enough to know that what's presented in the game is close to what's in the book. I'd imagine it'd have to be if they released it and we're calling it Shadow of Mordor. But all these different games. So was there one that even the Hobbit? Do you remember the Hobbit?
I do.
That was based on the book. That was also more kind of childlike. But I loved that game. So is there one from the annals that you could say, wow, that was the best Lord of the Rings game I ever played?
I owned on GameCube the best of all the systems.
Yeah.
It's only slightly sarcastic.
You even had a handle, right? Didn't it have a handle that you could pick it up by?
Yeah. And that intro, that
oh yeah,
so cool. Anyway,
so cool.
I had Two Towers and Return of the King based on the movies, and like you were saying, I love those games. I love that they use the original voice actors. I'm super into voice acting, and anytime they can take a game that's based off the movies and get the original actors to lend their voices to the video game, like,
it's so credible. And that's the other thing too, right? You see a movie and you're like, man, how do I get more of this?
Yeah.
Apart from dressing up and going to these places and acting, like, how do I get? It's playing a video game.
Exactly.
And the cool thing about those games too, they even had access to Weta and all of their set design, because Return of the King they developed before the movie came out.
That's right. Okay.
And Two Towers was kind of a similar way, so they had access to, hey, what's Helm's Deep going to look like?
Yeah.
Hey, what's what's Minas Tirith? What's the Battle of Pelennor Fields going to look like? So they had access to that stuff that they were developing to make the game seamless in the movie as well. So
much fun. So I enjoyed those a lot.
Yeah.
I love being able to play the different characters, and even you could do multiple players in the mission mode.
Yeah, there's multiplayer.
Which there aren't a ton of games that allowed that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it had a few kinks because it was an older system, but it played pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love those games.
Great games. Great games.
That's awesome.
Wow. Oh, is that what you want?
Oh, we
Okay,
hold
all right,
hands. We holding hands again.
So Ezra's left out. Reach your stick over here.
I'll see you guys.
Your staff. I'll see you guys.
Feel connected.
I mean, I guess that really we're kind of into the reread here. If you guys want to jump in, I mean, we're ready.
I think the only thing
you
I
want
wanted
to
to ask.
put it off some more? Or?
Well, maybe.
Are you sad?
Yeah. Well, we're doing a two-parter. We'll go.
Is your hat on your foot?
Yeah, I just kind of,
Why not?
just enjoying it.
Hobbit head.
What was the? Did you have any thoughts though on Homeward Bound or anything that you or was that
Oh,
going to
yeah, sorry,
lead into
thank
from the?
Oh yeah. So
Or is that just going to come up as we go through the reread? That's just fine.
so yeah, I mean there
We'll
were.
put that right there.
Put
baby.
it right here.
That
Is that
silky
better?
voice in.
We're
That's
eating,
good.
We
we're eating
want that
mics over
voice.
here.
No, this is my fiance will make fun of me because I make lists so I don't forget things because I'm a very forgetful person. I have that list on my phone, which is over there. I can go grab it real quick.
No. It's fine.
I wish I
It's
take this
fine.
for granted. I'm going to interject. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine.
I'm going to paint a picture for our uppers listening. I wish we had filmed what was going on when you first got here because I take it for granted because you've been my friend so long, but like you truly are Bilbo Baggins. He was you can't see it, but you can imagine. If you've been to the party, the backyard, but he was running up and down the sidewalk. Oh, I forgot something. Let me get it real quick. And he was handing out gifts. Joe always brings. He's like Ezra that way. He's a gift giver, and he was bringing gifts, and he would come bring one to me, and then he's I forgot, and he was running back again, and then coming back and forth. So just like the true in the truest sense, how I mean, you're talking about making lists, right, and being forgetful and that kind of stuff, and it's like you are Bilbo, my friend, 110%. So
that is quite the compliment. I appreciate it. No, a couple of the little things I'll just like from that, and this can kind of come up organically, however. The baby names I was excited about Vigo, Joel, and Ruthie Louise.
Ruthie Louise, yes sir. Yep.
Ruthie just beautiful.
Thank you, man.
I have always loved Lane ever since Crouch Fruit 1 has said that if he has a boy, he's going to name him Vigo.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that so much.
I don't think it's going to happen. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I think we're just a girl family.
See?
So what I'm going to do, and I was like, you know what? Like, this is going to sound really bad, but at some point I think maybe I'm just wanting a boy just to name it Vigo.
That's not
a
kind
great
of wanted
reason.
that for you.
Yeah, right.
But also, you would be happy with the girl.
Oh, 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, I just keep bringing those girls they're so like lovely. They're so wonderful.
They're adorable.
But I think I'm going to name a dog Strider.
Ooh,
To kind of,
there you go.
I'll get the name out there. I'll get a
Yeah,
dog.
I
I'll
like
name it
that.
Strider. Kind of like Frodo's pony.
Yeah.
In this chapter. So
Yes.
yeah.
But it'll be a boy. I know it will.
The dog.
The
baby. You are sold on this
I
baby.
know it's going to be a boy.
Man, dude.
Wow, can I tell you what Winnie said? So we were sitting there and I said, Winnie, I was like, she said Sarah said something about her being pregnant, or where they were asking. She was asking Charlotte, where's the baby?
The baby, yeah.
Yeah, and she would point to Sarah or whatever, and I then asked Winnie. I was like, wow, isn't that awesome? Your mommy's gonna have a baby, and you're gonna be another big sister again, and it's awesome. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what do you think it's gonna be, a boy or a girl? And she was like, boy and girl. It's gonna be a boy and girl.
She's gone back and forth. She was hardcore boy for a while, and now she's started to be more. I want a sister. I want another sister.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now
so
hold
it's
on.
funny because
She said boy. Do we have twins?
no, I think we're past that. We've flown that coop. There's
Alright.
only one baby in there. Thank goodness.
Luke and Leia.
Yeah. No twins.
Unexpected.
That would be awesome. I'd be
That
like a
would be
2 for 1. You know what I mean? But
For the price of-
but Sarah's actually felt like boy too. She's like, I can't. This one just feels so.
What did the ring
different.
test say?
The ring test said girl.
It said girl. I'm going
Said
with
girl.
that then, because
Yeah.
that was the ring test is legit.
It's legit, and it
I've heard
predicted
about
Charlotte.
that. Yeah.
What's the ring test?
So it can be any ring. You attach it to a string,
Okay.
and you hold it over a woman's pregnant belly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hold it perfectly still, it will go in a circular spin.
Yep.
It's the creepiest thing ever. Or it will go back and forth. Back and forth means boy. Circular spin means girl.
Interesting.
And it was right for Charlotte. And everyone thought Charlotte was going to be a boy. We were like, oh, dude, this is going to be a boy. Because Charlotte was so different inside of Sarah than Winnie was. And so we're like, it's going to, the heart rate was, and everyone's like, the heart rate, that is an indicator of the gender. It's none of it's true.
No,
Right.
It's
None
all
of it's true.
wives' tales.
It's a wives' tale. It's
Yeah.
a husband's tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's it's crazy. That's gonna be here before. I mean, here we go. Like 3 weeks or something like that.
I know.
Tomorrow, maybe.
It's amazing.
Maybe.
Like we're hey, don't knock on some wood somewhere. I'm
Somewhere.
sweating. Wow. Yeah. No, it's funny. Yeah, I won't. This is not about giving birth, so I won't talk about it here. But it's great seeing you guys with the girls. You know, they get to see Uncle Ez all the time. But every time they get to see you, Uncle Joe, it's like you're so good with kids.
Oh, thank
that
you.
they just any kind of kids when you see someone new or someone you haven't seen for a while. There's that little
Yeah.
wait, who is? I'm trying to place you.
Right.
When can I act like myself? But that's definitely a much shorter. There's no learning curve there. It's like they opened up to you right away and remembered you and. It's just cool to see. Like I was doing something and they would rather have been with you guys than either of us. And it's like, yep, fun uncles, the fun uncles. So, yeah. All right, buddy. Are we into this chapter here?
We're in, man.
Are
Here we
you
go.
ready?
Ooh, okay.
See if I can balance all
Dead
this.
not to pick it up. Yeah, you can put your staff down.
Actually, it's really helping me with my microphone.
Actually, you know what? Before we start, how about? All right, let me do this real quick. I know I'm dominating conversation. I'm gonna shut up here as soon as Ezra starts reading, and you two can walk this one out. But Ezra is an amazing gift giver. Always spoils us, gives us stuff he doesn't need to. You are the same way, my friend. I have a gift for you.
Oh.
All right. This
There we go.
is.
I'm intrigued.
So you like hats?
I
is
do.
what you told me.
I do. I'm a hat guy.
Got a Dollar General bag here, so
Oh.
go check that out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Very
you can
classy.
Get the new Mountain Dew at Dollar General. Shameless plug.
Piñapple. All right.
Yes.
A Lord of the Rings, Return of the King hat,
Whoa.
all for you. Wear it, my friend. Wear it proudly.
Oh my.
And also, you left these at our house. I have been waiting since September to give those back to you.
You
That's actually the last hat. We did some of those for a giveaway, and I had one that I kept for myself, and I'm like, I'm not going to appreciate this. Who's going to appreciate this?
Oh, this is beautiful.
I was like, Joe Lewis will appreciate this. He'll
Oh my
wear it
gosh, I gotta
all
put
the
it on
dang
right
time.
now.
That's what I'm talking
I feel
about.
like the
Dude, it's
director-
nice.
You look like Peter Jackson. I got to
literally
say.
is.
Wait, do I
Such a
look more like
nice-
Peter Jackson?
Yeah, actually, watch it in 3D.
Yeah.
That's what he would
Good
do.
Lord.
That's
All right,
perfect.
so for just those of you that are listening, I'm like a 60-year-old man and buy sunglasses that fit over my glasses. And so I had left a pair at the long-expected party back in September, and I had to. So this is perfect. Now I have them again, and they're great. They're great.
They might be a little broken, but I'm hoping they were like that
We'll have
before.
another pair. So this is a good
Okay,
backup.
thank God. Okay, all right.
I have one in my car and one in my fiance's car.
There
so
it
I
is,
can
baby.
fully
It's
embarrass her.
unreal.
Fully embarrass her.
Oh, I love
Thank
that.
you very much, my
You're
friend.
welcome,
This
Bill
is
Joe.
beautiful.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow. That's awesome.
All right, buddy.
So, here we go.
Let's get into it.
This is it. You ready?
Woo! Let's say goodbye.
There are parts in this where I'm gonna try not to cry. I'll just say that.
I think you should just let it out.
I'll let it out.
Let it go.
So just in recap, we the Scouring of the Shire. My goodness, we had
That was a packed chapter.
that was packed, very packed. That was like an hour and a half chapter just in listening. This is like half an hour, so not nearly as long.
What'd you say,
But
hour and a half?
when I was listening to it, it's on audio.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 27 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay.
Yeah, and this is like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. So, but yeah, we're in the Grey Havens. So, but last time, I think I just want to recap. I mean, we had, the Battle of Bywater.
Yep.
I mean, we lost some hobbits.
Yeah.
19, I think.
19
Ooh.
hobbits.
Raise the
Can you
stone.
say all their names?
They don't list them all. I wish they did. Are they listed in the appendices?
They
maybe?
might be somewhere.
They might be listed. Actually,
Gotta
I
go
have
look it up.
appendices.
I need to go see. But I know that all the Shirelings were supposed to kind of
Remember them.
remember them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Memorize their names and things. So, but we got rid of Sharky. Sharky could not believe how all the forgiveness that Frodo had, and goodness gracious, Wormtongue is even given another chance there to kind of like leave Saruman,
Yeah.
but Saruman is lets them know that he was the one who killed Lotho. Just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So that chapter was wild. Now this chapter, so this starts off. So we find out at the beginning of last chapter, Joe, that like the the mayor, that the mayor had been.
Oh yeah, Will Whitfoot.
Yeah, he had been taken in. He had been thrown in the lock holes.
Oh
right?
jeez.
So several people had been. This was crazy, and they decide then. Frodo decides to go down to Mickle Delving, and to release the prisoners from the lock holes. One of the first that they had found was poor Frediger Bolger, fatty no longer.
Fatty no longer.
Fatty no longer. He had been taken when the ruffians smoked out a band of rebels. Now, I was talking to Lane, I thought this was kind of interesting, that I remember when we first started in Fellowship, that I asked the question, one of the things that you asked me is like, we talked about why Fatty didn't go.
Yeah.
Why Fatty didn't go on this adventure. And they kind of say to him, like,
would have been better if you had.
Would have been better if you just came with us.
Yep.
Because he really suffered. I mean, he was thrown in those lock holes for a long time.
Yeah.
Fatty no longer.
Fatty no longer. How terrible would that be if that was your nickname? I mean, it'd be both like a compliment.
Formerly fatty.
Guys, I'll say this now. Once I finish my ketosis journey at the end of the summer, can we start calling me Fatty no longer?
It's my friend Ez. He also goes by Fatty no longer.
No, that's my rap name.
The artist formerly known as Fatty.
So you've got Rebecca Robney, right? Who has these rap battles?
Frodo Swaggins. Yeah.
Frodo Swaggins.
Yep.
So
game on.
Here's my introduction to Fatty no longer.
Beautiful.
The rapper. I need to get better at my rapping.
Notorious FAT.
Anyways, I love Fatty. I don't know why. I've always really liked. In the beginning, we didn't want to leave the Shire back in Fellowship, and so for us to go back and see him, and I really was just. It makes you so happy because you kind of forget. You're like, Fatty led a rebellion.
Yeah.
Let me be clear on that.
Yeah.
So he had been taken when the ruffians smoked out a band of rebels that he led from their hidings.
Crazy, huh?
He led this.
Crazy. It's like a footnote almost. It's like, well, by the way, Fatty was also a rebel. He was leading Hobbit. So again, that also kind of informs last chapter too. We didn't really get a comprehensive look at any kind of uprisings that happened, right? We knew that Lobelia was pretty mad. We learned that a couple hobbits, would put up, would cause a fuss with all the restrictions and everything. But we didn't know that to the extent that there were groups of people who challenged what was going on, and the big bosses and Lotho up at Bag End, and so this is cool. Crazy to learn.
Yeah, it's interesting because you had the Tooks who definitely were ready to rebel.
Sure, yeah.
And then to have Frediger, and then just I think it was Robin in the last chapter who kind of said that they were ready for this.
Yeah.
That it was past time. They needed they needed Mary's horn sounding, the horn of Rohan, just to wake everybody up. They raised the Shire. Then they got after
Call
it.
to arms.
Ooh, it was great. It was great. It was really good. But yeah, so we get him out of there, and well, Bill Joe knows about this. The banter between hobbits is just unreal.
Oh yeah, great. I love it. I love it.
So he's talking to Merry and Pippin, and he's just they're helping him out, right? And I pictured this, and he was just like, as they're talking to him, when they say you would have done better to come with us, and that's Pippin saying that. He had opened an eye and he tried gallantly to smile. Who's this young giant with a loud voice? He whispered. Not little Pippin. What's your size in hats now? I mean, of all the things to say coming out of
how big's that head, baby?
Right, yeah, how big? Yeah, you got a big head now. Who's this giant? This giant?
Yeah.
Who? I mean, and seriously,
I know.
I mean,
it's that end draft, man. That end draft makes you grow. It's crazy. And isn't that funny? I had that. I don't think I ever brought it up, but I had that kind of underlined last chapter. Must have been because we recorded late at night or something. But it's funny how even that was like Treebeard. Maybe unintentionally, probably unintentionally, but him preparing those two hobbits for coming back and knowing that these hobbits are a little bit bigger, they're going to be a little more intimidating.
Yeah,
more hobbits are going to rise up and follow them. They're going to be big and strong like Ents, and these normally jovial, quiet creatures are going to be able to reclaim their homeland just as we have.
Yeah.
And so it's just a cool connection to Treebeard and the Ents.
It is.
And how those hobbits are in the list now, man. They're in those lists for the Ents. Like, how cool is that?
That's
and because of those two hobbits, those two that are now larger than life almost. And I wish we got a little more of that in the movies. I feel like we don't
They don't really get taller, do they?
No,
Yeah,
no.
there's a little deleted scene in the extended edition where you get that, but it's
That they're like drinking from.
they're drinking the end draft, and like
Yeah.
Treebeard catches them, is like, "What are you doing?" But even just the sense that they're larger than life now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit. It wasn't a focus for the film because you couldn't dedicate time to it. But
Yeah.
I'm glad it's in the books because it informs those characters. It helps us see them in a different light.
Shows growth.
Yes, absolutely, and shows how they can become, or shows why. I think maybe the first few times I read Lord of the Rings, I was like, oh well, yeah, they become leaders, they become the mayors and all these things, the leaders of the Shire. I guess that makes sense, but they earned it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because they went on this quest. It actually had nothing to do with it. It's because
Mhm.
they came back and were renowned.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Now this next part, I want to see what you guys think about this. So I thought this was something else. So Lobelia, who is at the start of the story, we're not as fond of Lotho and Lobelia and this group of hobbits here.
Sackville Bagginses
who
from
are
Hardbottom.
interested- Yeah, exactly. Who are interested in Bag End. And so she's like greeted with applause when Frodo brings her out.
Yeah.
And
that was really the primary reason we didn't like them, right? Is because Bilbo didn't like them. Like Bilbo was annoyed by him, and so we're like, well, we don't like him either because Bilbo doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, it turns out maybe they were a different demeanor and ambitious and things like that. But Lobelia walks out here and she is greeted by clapping and cheering.
Yeah.
And it's like the reason that's cool is because she's never been greeted by this before.
Yeah.
And she's lost a lot, actually. But she was standing up for what was right when she was taken in.
Yeah, true.
And
Yeah.
she was inquiring, trying to basically stop these ruffians from whatever they were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's really she's seen as almost as a hero. And then the image of Frodo.
Yeah.
And her walking.
Yeah.
It's like she's with Frodo.
It's
I think
amazing.
that's something else. So
and it's almost another way that Frodo is helping heal the Shire, right? Bringing people together.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is pretty neat. So she never she had never in her life been popular before, but she was crushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crushed by the news of Lotho's murder, and she would not return to Bag End. She gave it back to Frodo and went to her own people, the Brace Girdles of Hardbottle. It says that I think it's just a little bit over a year later, right?
Next spring she dies. Yeah.
That she passes away. She was
Tolkien calls her a poor creature. The poor creature, so like a sympathetic way of looking at Lobelia. It is amazing. It is amazing. Even the writing style, I think, of how Tolkien treated Lobelia changes from the beginning of the book to now.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
That's right.
Intentionally, for sure, right? To show that, like, within the context of everything they went through together, those little squabbles that they may have had within their families were meaningless.
It's a shift in perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the Shire is better because of it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy, too. And you see what simply just the cheer and her giving back Bag End and what she had done was she was moved to a person who was, instead of trying to acquire and gain something, she was giving at the end of her life.
Yeah.
Giving, and she gave back. I think she set up
homeless charity for hobbits.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hobbit homelessness.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That is
Yeah.
so epic.
That's all. So that feud was ended. For sure it was.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So I thought that's neat. Things are changing.
And also kind of fitting because she wanted Bag End so bad, right?
Mm.
That she may have considered herself homeless at times. Like that was her home that she wanted,
Yeah.
and that she ended up, giving that support to hobbits who had lost their homes and all this stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool, man.
Now let me ask you a question. What do you? Frodo doesn't seem to want to take any position of power.
Yeah.
He does take a position as a deputy.
Out of a favor almost, or
right?
necessity. Yeah.
Will Woodfoot.
Yeah,
Yep.
while he's recovering, right? I think that's why. Do you think, Bill Joe, that he would, if he would have run for mayor, do you think
This is a good question.
right? Do you think they would have given it to him? I mean, what do you think?
I see. Part of me thinks that they would have given it to him out of a sense of obligation.
Mm-hmm.
As we go along a little bit later on in the chapter, it seems like he kind of gets overlooked a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think some of that's because he doesn't seek out the attention that he deserves.
That's right.
That's a great point.
I think, it would be something where it might be something where Sam or Merry and Pippin would be like, he is deserving of this, and he would need sort of a recommendation by other people to be like, these are all his accomplishments. He should run for mayor, because Frodo wouldn't actively seek it out.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you think that's also because he I didn't even think about that. That's spot on. And I'm thinking as you're talking about that, I wonder if that's because we look at Sam, Merry, and Pippin and how they were greatly changed and strengthened.
Mm-hmm.
We look at Frodo and how this still leaves scars, torments him, ramifications. He's getting sick twice a year, like deathly sick, seeing things that aren't there in a world afar. So how much of that do you think, like he probably wouldn't have been as much fun to be around?
Yeah.
People probably wouldn't have looked at him as, wow, look at what that journey did to Frodo. Wow. They'd say, that journey that, look at what that journey did to Frodo.
Exactly.
It's taken a lot from him.
Gosh.
We don't want to bother him with that. Or I don't know if he's fit to be mayor. I mean, that's just my opinion as a noble, little humble hobbit. But so I wonder if that was kind of you're right though. I don't think without, because my immediate answer would be, yeah, of course they would elect him. But then I'm like,
maybe not.
No, when you read the nuances of this chapter,
right.
like we would elect him, we'd be like Frodo for president,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
But when we read this chapter, we realize that he is kind of, sort of forgotten, not even a way that Bilbo was. Right, there was fascination with Bilbo.
Yeah,
like he's crazy, he's mad old Baggins, but what's going on up there? Like there's something crazy about him. It seems like in the shadow of Sam, saving the integrity physically of the Shire, and Merry and Pippin just being these larger-than-life hobbits akin to the old Took, that it's like, oh yeah, there's Frodo. I forgot. And that's the irony of it too, right? That Frodo was the one who completed this quest. It was his journey, and he's the one who gets overlooked. And it's even further ironic that Frodo doesn't really care. Yeah. That's not why he did it.
Come on.
He saved it for others, right?
Yeah.
And he knew, even in the beginning, Gandalf told him, this is going to change you. It's you might not come back. And then as the journey progressed too, he had more of a realization of that. But it's just nuts. He should be, but he probably wouldn't have been. I mean,
can we talk about just acknowledge, I guess, how many people in our world, and just in general, I don't care whether fantasy world, whatever, this world, whatever, that are those heroes. They did great things. They'll never say a word about it.
Yeah.
No one knows about it.
Unsung heroes.
That's what Frodo is. It's great to me. It's one of the things, I'm being dead serious, that my mom used to talk about all the time. Isn't that such an awesome, that's where you have to have sort of that inner voice to kind of speak to yourself that I know what I have to do. And you're right, Lane's exactly right, and so are you, Bill Joe. Here we go. So this is basically, Frodo gave up the Shire. He gave up everything so that they could gain it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's
Ultimate
unbelievable.
Sacrifice, yeah.
And it's I kind of was mixed on. I was like, well, I would mayor for sure. Absolutely. Deputy, I mean, they definitely know he's a part of this group. But the guys who are, when you look back at the last chapter at the Battle of Bywater, Frodo doesn't say much. Never takes his sword out, nothing. All he does is encourage, rush around and try to say, he stops hobbits from getting too angry. He's a reminder.
Yeah, he acts as a healer and not as
Exactly.
he doesn't present himself in like stereotypical powerful
That's right.
stance.
Yeah. His power was in this small, still voice, if you will.
Power of pity.
Yes, power
Right.
of having grace and mercy and things. And so that is it's just unbelievable.
Well, we even saw groups of hobbits, sorry not to interrupt,
Yeah.
but we saw groups of hobbits disagreeing with him. Kill him! What are you, crazy? He's a murderer.
That's right.
Kill
That's
him!
right.
And
That's
Frodo's saying no. So it's it is one of those truly great leaders where they do the right thing even when a lot of people go, what is he, crazy?
Right.
Yeah.
Is he nuts? Is she insane?
The great thing in this story is you could have a story where Frodo is the hero that Frodo is, but doesn't have a Sam who will tell his story.
Yeah.
And so what makes us so happy and what makes this such an emotional ending is that I still see Sam in the Shire telling this tale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that makes me so happy.
Yes.
I'm just like,
And you know, Merry and Pippin are singing songs about him.
Yes,
of
they
course.
are.
When they're at Crick Hollow and they got all their Hobbit ladies and they're drinking drinks and they're up on
Green
tables.
Dragon,
Who knows
yeah.
what they're doing? Who knows how they're using the showers? I don't
right,
know.
Right.
Or the baths. Sorry.
Crick Hollow.
There's lots
Yep.
of conspiracies going on, but you know they're bringing up. Man, you know who would love this? Frodo. Frodo the Nine-Fingered.
Yeah.
He was a true hero.
Yeah.
You think we're big stuff? Let us tell you about the one who ensured this peace
Right.
and who
Right.
restored this place.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just kind of thought it's interesting. It's something to think about. It'll be a recurring theme in this. But so as we move along here, though, so Frodo is deputy for a bit to help out Whitfoot there. Merry and Pippin, though, were left with kind of dealing with those other ruffians. So that's sort of left to them, which I thought was pretty cool. They're the biggest, strongest. They're running around.
Full of energy, ready to go.
That's right.
Go hunt them down. Get them out.
That's right. The Southern gang, after hearing the news of the Battle of Bywater, they fled out of the land and offered little resistance to the Thane. I love that they
That's
go
awesome.
the Thane.
I know, man.
Oh, it's just great. It's so awesome. Because what does that even do? Does that title stick, or is that just that's their claim, right? It's like you said,
Yeah.
like almost like the Scottish
Yeah.
clans where they're claiming,
It would be really interesting to look up how that. Well, I wonder if there is a link to Scotland there, because now that maybe this is just Billy, but like, do the Tooks, do they have a Scottish accent? Because Billy does, Pippin does.
Okay, maybe.
Like I wonder what
Yeah.
his
What
idea,
Tolkien's-
like
yeah.
his idea of the different farthings, if they were
Oh, how
styled
they
after
represent-
different
yeah,
people
I
of
got
Britain.
you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be interesting to look
That
up,
would
wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, because he retains his accent. That's the thing.
I know,
Like,
and
he
the other
could've.
ones, I mean, yeah, right. He could have spoken in an English accent, and he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, this young man has met Billy as well.
I have.
that's wild.
So I met him.
Little side story. We're talking about the Thane.
Uh huh. Yeah, we're
I
talking about
think it
the-
was in Cincinnati, either Cincinnati or Columbus, and I have him holding
The pipe.
this pipe.
This pipe.
I have.
Oh.
I had one of my pipe, or I had two of my pipes.
Is that why you brought this?
Yeah, that and to smoke it. But
Yeah.
I have a picture framed that's in my house of me and Billy both holding one of my pipes, and so now every time I smoke out of that pipe, I'm like, this is a pipe that Billy held.
Do you did you get to talk to him a little bit?
I did a little bit.
Wasn't he like the nicest
He's so kind.
movie star you could imagine?
You could tell that he goes to cons not for some like feeling of obligation, but because he enjoys it.
Yeah,
and
I was
he loves
blown-
connecting with his
that's
fans.
That's the perfect way to describe it. I think maybe I've been reaching for that exact explanation for
Yeah.
years. Like that's exactly how he made us feel. He made us feel
yeah.
like, hey, I'm here because I appreciate that you are a fan of what I do.
Yeah.
And not because I think I'm a big deal, or his demeanor is so, it's gonna sound, I don't know any other word, attractive, magnetic. Like
yeah.
it just, like I would want to be, if I was an actor, I would want to be friends with Billy Boyd. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he's just a
I would-
solid dude.
I would love to have been in this movie solely so I could hang out
Yeah,
with the Hobbits.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Like how
totally.
awesome
Oh,
would
yeah.
that be?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of those guys. I remember, like,
And they wish they could be us to hang out with us.
They do.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd never admit it.
Right,
What-
Sean?
Right. Well, we'll ask him. We'll cut this up and we'll make a clip. And
Sean, quit
tag
rolling
him.
in the. Yeah.
There we go.
That was
We
good.
saw that one dying before it. No, but like in talking to Billy, I was already like, you're already in love with his character. You're already in love with
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
whatever. And then you see him in other things, and you think he's such a, like, the spirit that he communicates on the screen. You're like, guys, this is awesome. When we met him, though, I then wanted to look up, what else are you into?
Yeah.
Like, he's that type of guy who
Yeah.
he really.
He's a
you're like,
musician.
I'm
He's
into
an
whatever.
artist.
He's
Yeah.
an art. He's a guy. He's got a band and
wrote-
everything. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this. He wrote the Steward of Gondor song in Return of the King, I think, or at least the music to it.
The music, yes.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
it is
Okay.
a song in the book.
Yeah.
But yes, he.
And Peter Jackson
So he
approached
wrote
him
the
and
melody
said-
and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's yeah. Wonderful, wonderful man.
Yeah, he's very
Man.
talented.
Yeah.
Just a
Man.
beautiful voice.
Anyway, a little sidebar
Yep.
there.
So
Sorry.
he's the Thane.
Billy is awesome.
He's
He's
the
the Thane.
He's the Thane. All right. So now this was interesting. There's a bit here just about like they're using the old bricks to kind of shore up. They're rebuilding the the Hobbit holes and things like that. The big thing though is let me make sure I'm not missing it here. Yeah. They're deciding on what to name that.
Yeah.
They're renaming things. Bagshot Row. They've got to figure out what to do there. So they got new gardens.
I did like the irony in calling it that, like the new row.
The
right?
new row, yeah.
That Hobbits called it Sharky's End.
Yeah.
Sharky's End.
It's
Yeah.
also like where he died.
It's where he
you know,
died,
it's
yeah.
like it's great. It's a great
Right.
street name, but it's also
It's
you know
got
double
this-
meaning there.
It
So
was a purely Bywater joke.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Let me flip the page. Oh goodness, make sure there's no. There we go.
Oh, this is the bit with the trees.
Yeah, this is where Sam is going to go out, and he gets busy for a bit. And
I'm sorry.
huh?
He's gonna get busy for a bit.
He hasn't married Rosie yet, has he?
Oh no! Yeah, oh boy! Oh wow! Caught me off guard there. No! I didn't mean that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Busy doing. He has a task to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So
I knew I'd see you again.
The trees were the worst lost in damage, for at Sharky's bidding they had been cut down recklessly far and wide over the Shire, and Sam grieved over this for more than anything else.
Yeah.
For one thing, this hurt would take a long time to heal, and only his great-grandchildren, he thought, would see the Shire as it ought to be.
Yeah.
So he remembers this gift from Galadriel. Maybe it won't be as long, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be able to do some good healing here in this next year or so. So he gets out the box that, and this is neat too. They're also called the Should we start referring to them as the Travelers?
The Travelers.
Oh yeah.
The Travelers.
Yeah, sure.
That's as they're known. Yeah, because he brought the box out and shoved it, and showed it. Excuse me.
Shoved it.
Shoved it. And he showed it to the other travelers, and he starts asking, "What should we do with this?
Mm-hmm.
How should I use it?" And I think it's interesting that Merry and Pippin, they give these suggestions. They're not gardeners.
Right.
No.
They don't know. They
Make
don't
a
actually
grove. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw it to the wind.
Make a cool garden.
What are you
Right.
guys,
Like-
goofballs? Like you don't know what you're talking. That's another cool way that the four of them kind of balance each other out, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's Frodo who says, "You know what to do.
know. You know what to do.
You know, search your own." And so in the box, right, is gray dust, soft and fine, and the middle is a seed, a small nut with a silver shale. So we know what the seed is, right?
Mm.
It's
Yes.
I'm going to spoiler alert. Is that okay?
No, go for it.
Turns into a Malorn tree.
That's right.
Right,
Yeah.
like in Lorien,
Mhm.
and he plants it in the place where the party tree was. It replaces the party tree. It's one of the great trees from there on forward
That's
for the
right.
rest of time in Middle Earth. And it's just this. It's beautiful. And we'll get there when we talk about it. When we get there, we can talk about it more. But I wanted to ask you guys. So this dust reminds me of something that happened in Magician's Nephew. It reminds me of the
Let's go.
dust that the rings
Yes.
Are
were
made of.
forged
Yes.
from.
Yes.
Right? In Magician's Nephew.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, so we know what the nut is, the seed. It's a Malorn seed.
Yeah.
What is this dust?
Crossover.
Where is
Wow.
this dust from? I mean, I love that he doesn't tell us. Maybe he tells us in some letters written somewhere that someone's going to know about and tell us,
Yeah.
or some deep secret allusion in the appendices I haven't gotten to. But I love that.
It's a cool connection.
I love that that Frodo's advice is that it must be powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And that Sam takes that so literally, that grain by grain.
Great. I know.
So if it's that powerful, I want to know is it from the Undying Lands? Is it from the shores there? Is it like literally sand from the Undying Lands?
Mm-hmm.
Why would that be powerful? I don't know who that is. What? Hey, maybe he's a listener.
Hey.
You an upper? Why would that be powerful? Is it only because it's been brought to Middle Earth? Is it because Galadriel's blessed it? Is it like the silt from the bottom of her mirror? I don't know.
Right. Is it from Lorien? Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, because every little bit mattered.
Yes.
And was used. He
And
takes it around.
speeds up that growth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What should have happened in 20 years happens in 1
Right.
with these trees. And so it's not Sam's great-great-grandchildren that are the ones who get to fully appreciate it. It's him. It's
That's
his
right.
children. I often to talk about to another sidebar. I often think about that with our tree.
Yeah.
And I think like, man, I wish I had some of that dust just laying around because I think it's going to live a lot longer. But when this tree goes, there'll be a part of me that is gone, and that I'll never get to see. I mean, this literally is our party tree.
Yep.
It is.
You can see this thing from all over the village. It's the biggest tree around, really. It's this big, full silver maple that you can just sit here and lay and look at the layers, and it takes you to another place. It provides shade. It provides comfort.
Right.
I've disappeared behind that tree
You've
before.
disappeared
Yep.
behind that tree. It's magical. The leaves, when the leaves rustle in the wind, it's like another, I don't know. It takes you to another place.
Yeah.
Or it makes you feel this place more purely. I don't know. But I've thought about that. Like when this tree goes, maybe I can find some of those grains, so I can plant another and speed it up. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's magical.
I wonder how
Yeah.
much that was Tolkien though, thinking about like maybe mourning some of the loss of the trees that he loved. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he had trees he loved, and if they would have gotten cut down, just thinking, man, I wish I could plant it again and enjoy it in its prime, like in my life. Because that's something with trees, man. Like if you're, depending on when they're planted and when you're alive, you miss that window.
You know.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go ahead.
So
So
I've always loved willow trees. I think
Yeah,
willow
they're
trees are
beautiful.
Yes.
But I had this sort of like disillusionment of sorts where I found out that you can really only plant willow trees next to like lakes or rivers
they have to have water. Yes.
because they have to be by water. So
Oh.
I will probably not live in a house realistically where I can either
Bless you.
plant a willow tree
You're so kind.
or there will already be a
love
willow
you
tree.
so
I want you to
much.
look that up though, because there's one over here. And
Really?
It's not by water.
Okay.
I just want you to maybe that. I wonder if that's. Ask him. Goldberry is
whichever-
here.
I'll do this. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello. Bye.
What did you think of the Great Havens?
I cried in the movie. Never read the book.
She cried,
Cried in the
movies.
movie, never
She
in the
cried
books.
Mm, she
We love you
never
for this.
cried
Thank you.
during
Are the
reading
girls
books.
asleep?
It's possible.
Get out of here!
Wow.
You go, girl. Come on out, enjoy the fire.
Let's go.
She's
Let's
gonna have
go.
a baby tomorrow.
She's that baby's cut.
Wait, are you serious?
Whoa.
Just kidding.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah, no, I could predict the exact day. True story. Predicted the exact day my nephew was born.
Wow.
So
How insane is that?
Sarah
Maybe he's glad
is going
He's
to have
far
a
seen.
boy tomorrow. How crazy
I
would
kind
that
of
be?
hope you're wrong, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little intense for Lane.
That's how I want to. I want to sleep a lot tomorrow,
That's fair.
and that might put a kink in my plans.
Yeah,
Is that selfish? I don't know. Maybe.
That's all right.
It's like, hold on, just stay in there for one more day.
Willow
right?
trees, though. You love
Willow
willow.
tree-
Do you
Oh,
have
yeah,
a
yeah.
favorite willow tree somewhere,
Oh man.
or just you just like them in
I
general?
just love the looks of them. I
Yeah.
love like,
like the feel of
just
them?
sitting underneath a willow tree, just the shade that it just always seems very picturesque.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think they're beautiful, but they
They are.
also take a long time to grow.
And they also eat you if you're a hobbit
Oh yeah.
in the old forest.
Or they womp you
Oh.
like in Hogwarts.
That's true. They can do that too.
Wait,
But
womp
sometimes
rat?
there's secret
Passages.
through them. There's a
Never
cross-
thought we'd have that connection
Hey,
here at the end.
that's
It
Lane's
truly
so
is the end of all things.
Lane's so thrown.
one might say it was unexpected.
Unexpected. That was very unexpected. Yes.
Well, might
Can I say I
you
love?
could even say it's a bunch of Potter. What?
He lost it
Keep going,
again.
you're good,
What
you're
were
good.
you saying?
Strike two.
I said
Strike
I
two.
love Lord of the Potters.
That's great.
And they're holding
Thanks for
hands
being
again.
here. Thanks.
This is
I
where
just
we're
patted
at.
his
I love
hand.
it.
Just
Oh,
patted.
okay.
Ez, what kind of tree do you have? A favorite like particular tree, or is it just a type?
So we have in our backyard a couple. We have a dogwood tree, which is interesting.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Beautiful,
They're a pain to mow around though, right? Because
yeah.
the leaves or
Yeah.
the flowers when they fall, that messes up your mower.
but it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. We also have a buckeye tree.
Oh,
Several.
Wow.
Several. People used to come.
and pick 'em off.
Exactly. They wanted. They would see it and they would say, "Hey, are you guys gonna? Do you guys collect those?" Yep, 100%. We then figured out like Mom would collect them, and she
You can
made
sell 'em.
all these like sort of like buckeye necklaces and things and just different things, what have yous. They're cool.
They are. They're
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
beautiful. And
Do you know why they're called Buckeyes?
Because Native Americans thought they looked like the eye of a buck or a male deer.
Isn't that
really,
cool?
really.
They're not edible though.
No, they're not.
I've
They're
tried.
not actually made of chocolate and peanut butter.
No, they're not.
Well, some of them are.
Yeah, I mean, you usually have to bite
But
into
those
one. to
grow on a
tell-
Kit Kat tree.
Yes. Yeah. Or a
Reese's
Reese's
tree.
Reese's. Where the Reese's monkeys hang out.
I just want people to know that I'm trying to balance 3 things here in my hands, and it's
quite
great.
successfully.
It's
Do
great.
you want your pipe as well?
Yeah,
Do you have to
someone,
have
someone put my pipe in.
Do you need to move your bowels yet?
Not yet.
Okay, all right.
Surprisingly,
All right.
Sarah asked me that earlier, and I was like, "I'm good. Do you?"
Oh, I haven't today, so I would like to at some point. I don't know when it's.
Well, you're gonna have to hold it, man.
Oh,
No, I just meant because you had to.
move your
Oh.
bowels.
What did you think?
Okay.
I said
I don't know. I thought you were referencing some
vowels.
tech piece of a bowel or something.
Are you kidding? Wow, that's
Like,
hilarious.
hey,
He's
do you
not
have to move
joking.
your
Are our
bowels?
bowels tangled here?
He's not joking.
That's hilarious.
I don't know podcasting.
That's
things.
so beautiful.
Oh gosh,
That's awesome.
unreal.
Wow.
That's unreal.
Get these bowels untangled.
All right, let's see if we can make a little bit more.
Sorry,
progress.
back
Okay,
into the
you're good.
progress.
No, trees are great though, because I like
I
that.
do enjoy
That's
trees.
I love willow trees. We had one. Joe, do you know the old like haunted mansion over by? Does he know? Like
Where you live?
Yeah. Well, basically, I lived in Bangs. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But you know where Bangs is back
Yeah.
up by Mount Vernon. There was that old, really kind of spooky mansion that was out there. I don't know if a lot of kids from the NAS would go out there.
Yeah.
And we would see them from time to time. So, but there was a willow tree in front of it, and it was pretty cool. It
Yeah.
was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of sad. Sorry, last tangent on trees. I promise.
Well, I was starting it, so don't
Okay.
apologize.
I am kind of sad that this part didn't make it into the movies because I think it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's like it comes full circle with Sam's character as the gardener to, like, make his addition to rebuilding the Shire
Yeah.
using the talents and the gifts.
We talked about that last night.
That's
We
right.
talked about that last
Yeah.
night. How him as the gardener, it's exactly what. Yeah, he would have, and we talked about the, I guess maybe even more so, the impact it had on Sam more than even the other hobbits of seeing seeing Hobbiton in ruins.
Yeah,
and seeing
yeah.
trees cut down and seeing holes dug up and seeing weeds everywhere. That that we saw that through his eyes intentionally because it affected him.
Yeah.
Even more than the others. Like, obviously it would be difficult for them to see too, but that's his craft, right?
Yeah.
It's like trying to find the bowels in a podcasting studio, you know? It's just
I
like,
mean,
well, there aren't
sometimes
any.
they get tangled.
There aren't any, and that,
Right.
that would hurt most to know, well, where are the bowels?
it really hurts me.
Well, I know.
Just,
I don't know if we should talk about that. though.
I would prefer
Speaking
to.
of bowels.
I'd prefer to move on. Darn it! Oh, I was gonna say. So, again, before we move on.
She's
Here.
a celebrity? She's literally going to watch us.
Oh, come on over. Come
yeah,
on over.
come
Get
join
in the
it.
shot.
Sit next to Ez.
Get in the shot. Come right
Please
over here.
do.
Right over here. Right over here.
I would be honored.
No, next to Ez, please.
No, I'm good.
It is offensive.
You might actually be halfway in the shot there.
I'm offended.
What's our
bad
podcast?
It's about Harry Potter.
about
Goldberry's here,
bowels.
just so everyone. I love that Goldberry is here at the end because this is perfect. She was there in the beginning, and she's always been here, and it's amazing. And there she is.
Goldberry.
So, before
Amen.
before I cheers. Were you drinking coffee there
Just
or what?
spilled milk all over herself.
That's
I
why
hope
she's
that's
staying
on
out of the
camera.
shot.
Honey, the
I
baby
hope
can't eat that yet, okay?
I hope that's on camera. So I wanted to mention
Am I really maybe on the camera?
it might have been. I don't know. Lane did a wide
Let me
shot.
look.
He did a wide shot, so we're gonna see. So Joe, I'll talk to you, and Lane, please don't trip over the cables. Please do not trip over. Lane, seriously. Oh, he scared me. So scared me.
If it went into the fire instead of water, how ironic would that be?
Cast it into the fire.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
You're fine.
Destroy it.
No, we're like midway through the reread. Yep. So we're midway through.
How are we doing on time? What time is it?
So
Is that wrong to ask?
No, I think we're doing
4
fine.
o'clock.
4 o'clock or so?
I think it's about 3. Oh, 7:30.
That's not
I
bad
was
at all.
close. I was close.
Be done by 9.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention.
Joe's like, I would like to go to sleep at some
No,
point
I don't
think I
today.
said that 3
Sleep.
times.
What'd you say?
Power 3. Took me 3
Ah,
times.
okay,
but I got
yeah.
it. Here we are.
I see.
Sharky. I want to say this real quick before
Yeah.
I forget. Sharky. You remember when Sharky said in the last chapter, like that by destroying and cutting down the trees, that would be the great hurt? And it's like Galadriel has like the counter because he
Oh
thinks it will
my
take
gosh, I didn't even
years.
think about that.
He thinks it'll take years or whatever. So like even though he's gone now, it's just like there's another just like You tried and you failed.
Lesson
Yeah.
of the story: Galadriel always has the final word.
Yeah, she has the final word.
Every
Exactly.
time.
Do
Every time.
do not mess with Galadriel. She's awesome. So, anyways, that's pretty neat. Yeah, so use all your wits and knowledge that you have on your own there, and he's encouraging Sam. So, as we say, he planted those saplings. And Lane kind of said it. Really, the next couple paragraphs here. Sorry, I keep scratching my nose in the video here with my book because I have no hands. They're full. I have hands, but they're full. It was indeed a Malorn, and it grew in grace and beauty, known far and wide. So that's pretty awesome. We talked about that. Here we go, though. You ready for this? Are we ready for this?
Oh, are we?
Altogether, 1420 in the Shire was a marvelous year.
Damn straight.
Yes. Not only was there wonderful sunshine and delicious rain due to times and perfect measure, but there seemed something more, an air of richness and growth, and a gleam of beauty beyond that of mortal summers.
Yeah.
Like, wow. So this is awesome,
Quite
you
high
know?
praise.
Yeah. All the children born or begotten in that year, and there were many, were fair to see and strong, and most of them had rich golden hair that had been rare among hobbits.
So
this
there were no blonde hobbits.
yeah, this is new. This is like a new thing. It's like this new, I mean, Galadriel, like all of that. I mean, there's got to be some extra effect. What's going on here, right? Yeah, the fruit was plentiful, which is awesome. It said, wow, yeah, that the hobbits, the young hobbits, they very nearly bathed in strawberries and cream.
Speaking of cream,
Come on,
this is toffee nut latte creamer, and
Come
I
on.
enjoy drinking it.
just a nice shot of cream over here.
Oh, it's good. This-
Imagine if it was strawberry flavored.
That would be nice, but I prefer the sweet and salty of the toffee nut latte.
Yeah,
I like to drink creamer straight.
There's nothing else that needs. We should just wrap it up right there.
There's 9 carbs in that, so
That would be
I'm gonna
in
have
what?
to
In
move
a
on.
mouthful or in a serving?
In a serving, which is probably a
A
mouthful.
mouthful.
So anyway, yeah, there
Thanks
we
for
are.
letting me have your
That
creamer.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do strawberries with cream now or at the end?
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's a quick one. It's not.
Bathing
There's
in
not a lot
cream,
of
let's
thought.
do it because we're about to have another
Sure.
great 1420 moment. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right.
We have actual strawberries and cream. I don't need to drink just creamer.
Well, Lane's going to give you some strawberries.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
All right, so strawberries with cream. This final episode. All right,
Yeah.
and I don't think we're going to do this again because it's not a reference in The Hobbit.
Oh.
It's not a reference in.
Got it. Not actual strawberries and cream.
segment in the show.
I should have.
Got it.
I did that once. We did have strawberries and cream one
We did.
time. Do you
We
remember
did.
that?
Yes. Yes.
I'm a thoughtless host. But my question to you is because it talks about that the Hobbit children practically bathed in strawberries and cream.
Right.
So this week's strawberries and cream in the middle of the episode, as opposed to the end, is what one food would you bathe in?
Bathe in?
It could be metaphorically, or
No,
you
no,
know,
no, no. I mean, you're
or it
talking
could be literal.
Literally get in there. I want this to be literal.
Now
Literal.
you'd also probably eat it. Like if I thought about bathing in a food, I'd want to be like, it's so good, I'm eating it. So
Goodness gracious.
not just the feeling of bathing in it, but also eating it while you're, probably. I don't know how you're going to bathe, if you're going to be in a swimming suit or
This is
a la
tough.
natural, but
This is tough because can I tell you the first thing that popped in my head? And I don't think it's my final answer, but can I tell you the first thing?
Yeah.
your water probably.
No, the first thing was SERP, but that just is not gonna.
Well, if you could say it correctly, that would also be cool.
What's wrong with SERP?
I never know what that means.
What?
See, he doesn't know either.
Get your mic.
Say it slowly.
SERP.
Say it slowly.
SERP.
Syrup.
It's that Kentucky boy. Syrup. Okay, so you would literally bathe in syrup?
Well, no, I just kind of thought like when you thought of I was thinking of liquids, and I thought of something that was sweet, and I thought SERP.
Well,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be a liquid.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But that's all I said. It's not my final answer.
Okay.
Not my final answer because
I wonder how many people would
this is.
enjoy watching you bathe in syrup.
Let me. Oh Lord, because you think
Cut that out. Just cut that out. No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
No, it's fine. It's staying in because I'm telling you right now.
That's what friends do.
There's
They watch
if you guys, it's
No.
it's
I'm
the new
glad your
thing.
mic's not
It's
on.
a SERP challenge. We'll all try it later. Good grief.
I don't think that's
I
gonna
don't
happen.
think that's a good idea. Please don't try that at home. You're gonna get yeah. Have you ever gotten SERP on your arm or something?
Oh, it's the worst.
Tears on the hairs. Get like
Rips your skin off.
We had syrup.
All over the place.
all over the place. Yeah,
The girls just throw it everywhere.
that's crazy. Yeah, so never mind. That's a terrible idea. It's just the thought of a lot of syrup.
Oh, just
Sounds
drinking
great
it.
because
Oh.
I'm carb deprived. So
That's true.
I'm
I didn't
down.
think about that spin on it.
I'm
Okay.
down. Now
Was that Lloyd Christmas?
let me buy. I'll buy you guys. You guys got yours. I'll just go ahead and give mine. So I guess it would be mac and cheese. A nice warm, not hot, mac and cheese, and I'm talking real, just cheesy. Get in there. On the stove type of like.
Bonus
Yeah.
points for how you would dive in, what you would be wearing.
Well, you just be wearing trunks. It'd just be trunks, and I would probably go feet first.
Okay, like a sort of pencil dive.
Yeah, just pencil dive in there.
I like that.
Big old thing, and then I just like. Can you imagine the feel of that though?
It kind of the sound I think would creep me out.
Oh, really? Yeah. I love mac and cheese. It's one of the things I've been craving since I haven't had since I've been on keto.
There's no keto alternative, is there?
Unless I could find a real good
Chicken and cheese or something.
type of different noodle. Cheese is great, but it's the noodle I got to figure out.
could you put like chicken in there instead? That's
You
not.
had those?
Uh-uh.
You're making that up, aren't you?
We're going to have to figure out the
Really?
carbs on that. But all right, you guys go ahead. Go ahead. What do you got? What do we got? Lane? What do you think? Strawberries and cream. What do you got? What are you bathing in?
I actually hadn't thought this one through.
Oh, okay. Wow.
First time ever. Had to happen eventually.
Uh-huh.
What food? Well, I know what I'd say. It's the same answer as last time. Or I think, what did we talk about last? Some kind of food craving. Was it last episode?
My mind is I don't know.
Your mind's on the SERP.
Yeah.
I think, there it is, fellas. Yeah, I know. I even know the container. Y'all ever been to Katzinger's
Wait
Deli?
a second.
Oh yeah, cat
You know that big pickle barrel?
Are you
Yeah.
Just take the lid off and let me get right in.
Are you kidding?
Butt naked,
Wow.
and I'm chomping on pickles.
So, is there some like?
And I drink that pickle juice too, just
isn't
so
there
you know.
something though with the pickle juice that actually would? Don't people put their feet in pickle juice
It's vinegar.
for something and it kind
Yeah,
of pulls?
dude,
it pulls,
I'm sure there is some sort of pain relief.
Yeah.
I'm sure. As
People
I'm,
drink it for the electrolytes.
Yeah.
It's the original Gatorade. I'm letting you guys know right now that when I drink pickle juice on this window thing, I've been drinking pickle juice for cravings. And if you're out there and you need help with cravings and you're doing an IF, intermittent fasting, and your window's closed and you are hungry, and I mean hungry, but you can't eat, drink some pickle juice. It probably would not work if you hate pickles, but if you even like them remotely, it provides everything you need. But anyway, I'm convinced that because it's some sort of vinegar, it's going to add 20 years to my life.
Yeah. I need to start. I need to figure it out then because I eat too. Like when I ate pickles, I ate sweet pickles.
Yeah, no.
But I like dill pickles. I love dill pickles.
Do you like deli style?
I guess so. Maybe.
So salty. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the salt will probably kill me, honestly.
Yeah. So that's cool. Okay, we got mac and cheese and we got pickles. All right.
What do you got, young man? What are you bathing in?
Oh man. So
Pipe tobacco?
Are we talking food or drink?
Yeah. What? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just swallowed a bit of tobacco.
Oh, that happens to the best of us.
Shot right through my stream.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Come on.
So
Yep.
it would be one of two things. One, for food, it would be spaghetti. If anybody has ever seen the movie Patch Adams,
Yeah,
one of
it's been a long time.
one of the old ladies
Yes.
bucket list things is just swim in a pool of noodles. And like anything pasta, I'm like the opposite of Ez. If it has carbs, I will eat it.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Is it sauced pasta or just olive oil?
Just maybe olive oil, a little bit of
You want
butter,
some lubrication to get through
but
there.
yeah,
You're gonna get
exactly.
Stuck in the noodles.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
If it was food. Now, if it was drink,
I know. Can I guess?
yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Oh my
Let's go.
gosh.
Code red.
Code red.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, get out. That's okay.
That's
I might
awesome.
have to. No, I'm not going to change my answer, but that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Just mouthfuls of
Could you
Code Red.
imagine?
Dude, okay, think about the
Oh my-
pain in the butt when you like swallow a mouthful of chlorine. Now imagine you're swimming in Code Red and you're like, give me another.
Yep.
Right.
Oh no, I
me
accidentally
another.
swallowed it.
Oh, guys, I drank the pool water.
Magically, I can swim underwater for like a long time. Oh, he's not
I'm
coming
drinking
up.
Code Red through my nose.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
All
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, some strawberries with cream. That was
Yeah,
great.
guys. Sorry
those
about
tasted
that.
really good. That's
That's
strawberries and cream.
Part 2 of this. Here we are. So, and you go ahead and prep whatever you need to here, Joe, for this. So, in the South Farthing, the vines were laden, and the yield of leaf was astonishing. And wherever there was so much corn that at harvest every barn was stuffed. The North Farthing barley was so fine that the beer of 1420 malt was long remembered and became a byword.
Oh, well, speaking of 1420 beer from North Farthing, I have some special beer here in my pocket.
Of course.
It is a peanut butter flavored whiskey that's kind of like beer.
Uh-huh.
And they're in like these little mini bottles that I would like to share with you.
Okay.
Arguably as good, if not better, than 1420 beer from North Farthing.
Wow.
Wow, is that blasphemy?
Is it?
Well, we don't know
Here's
yet.
the thing, we don't know yet.
We don't know. We actually won't even know after we drink this because
Yes.
we haven't had that beer.
Oh, you haven't?
Wait, did you guys
We're
drink without me?
experiencing.
Oh, is that? Oh, I see.
This chapter we're experiencing.
It's symbolism.
Yes.
Okay, cute.
All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna give one to you.
Yes. Are you drinking some too, though?
I'll
right?
have some too.
Okay.
You mind
Because
opening that
I
for me
won't
there?
be able
Oh,
to.
yeah.
I won't be able to shoot this.
Yeah, don't
Sip it.
It's good for sipping.
Okay.
And I think you guys will enjoy this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, so
You know how we do this, right?
can we call this
Never above ye, never below ye.
always beside you? There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are.
All right. Bottoms up.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think?
Wow.
Very peanut buttery.
I don't like whiskey. I don't like scotch. I like this.
Yeah. It's peanut butter. It's a very dominant taste.
I can imagine either A, you're allergic to, or B, you don't like it. That if you didn't like peanut butter, you would hate this.
Oh yeah.
But this is saving whiskey for me.
Yeah.
I love peanut butter, and so that's delicious.
That's the thing.
That's delicious. You can split that with Lane.
Isn't whiskey good for like carbs? There's no carbs in whiskey, right?
I don't think so.
And
Yeah.
like scotch and stuff, like it's carbless, or are we
I'm
wrong
almost
on that?
positive. I'm pretty sure.
That's why people can drink tons of it, and it's like they don't.
well, tons is
I have
Well, not literally ton.
Yeah,
Vegas.
yeah.
Does this guy ever podcast?
no, clearly.
I didn't think so.
Got his bowels tangled.
In more ways than one.
I
burns.
I really hope people can check in here and see the visual. I just want to see. I'll be able to see how. Can someone give me one more drink over here?
You're not supposed to drive a car or operate
Here,
machinery.
do you want
Is this
some creamer?
machinery?
No, could you
Can
imagine?
you imagine? Yeah, I'm gonna. You have a shot of.
Right.
that was really
and
good.
that's the third time. And that's the third time.
Yes.
That's a
I
reoccurring
still
theme.
have
That's
your,
beautiful.
Your cap if you want.
Your calf?
Cap.
Cap. Okay.
Did you guys see that catch? Please go to YouTube to see that catch.
That was a beautiful catch.
You didn't. You were never even a
I
receiver, were you?
wasn't even looking.
Tight
I
end.
was a receiver.
Okay.
It's a
Sure.
tight end.
And also this is named after me. It's called Screwball.
Uncle
Wow.
Screwball.
Uncle Screwball.
To
So,
the misfits, black sheep, and screwballs.
Can I say though? I would actually say if you were sampling like whiskeys and stuff though, and you had that one, I would say of like let's say 6 or 7. Yeah, that's a go-to, and that's also a memorable one. Very
is.
memorable. And that's what 1420 is this memorable year.
Exactly.
So I would say yes, that's a 1420 reference right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
100%.
It's
So I
better
like
than the pizza whiskey that I got once.
That sounds
It's
terrible.
It was a real thing. I
That
tried
sounds
it. It was
absolutely terrible.
awful.
Please don't ever bring that here to the Shire.
That is the opposite of 1420.
Oh goodness.
All right.
That's 710.
That's 100. Yeah, that's a 7.
All right, so moving on here. Moving on. Sam stayed at the Cotton's farm with Frodo, but when the new row was ready, he went with his gaffer. In addition to all of his other labors, he was busy directing and cleaning up the restoration of Bag End. So he stays with the Cottons for a bit with Frodo, but eventually then moves in with his dad. And he's got work to do. He wants to move in somewhere else, but he's.
Are you wanting feedback here?
No, I was just turning the page.
That's usually where I go on for about 10 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm listening. I'm practicing active listening.
I see that.
And pipe smoking.
He's yeah. If you want to see some good pipe smoking, actually, again, check out the YouTube. It does smell good. It does. Now Frodo though is living with the Cottons, and I think this is interesting that he at one point in time he's often found clutching this white gem that hung on a chain around his neck, and he seemed half in a dream. And he doesn't really let Sam know. Sam is again busy trying to figure out what to do, how to restore Bag End, how to, plant these trees and everything. So, but Frodo's definitely in some trouble in that. It seems like a couple times each year he has these a fit, or he goes into
some in between world,
Wraith
world, right?
Wraith
so
world.
It's when around the time that the quest was almost completed. Sam noted that it ended on March 25th, Charlotte's birthday, also the day that they fulfilled the quest and the ring was destroyed, and then around October 6th, which is when he was stabbed on Weathertop. And so it's these closest of brushes with that evil, I think, or the most intense, the highest intensity of those experiences, right?
Yeah.
Another interesting thing we talked about too, clutching that white jewel around his neck. We've talked about this. That is, of course, the Evenstar pendant. That is what.
I forgot.
What Arwen gave him, and we were talking about this before. Actually, we usually don't discuss the chapter, but it's been a blast being here with Joe and talking about just how cool was that, how cool was this, and just the fact that we go from him, sort of playing and fingering with a ring around his neck that represents doom and despair and destruction, to this white jewel that is like a hope for peace,
right.
A hope for a break from this torment, a hope for like a new life in another place, for a Shire to come in a way for Frodo. Like, he's still looking for his Shire. He's still looking for what other the peace and solace other people find here. Where am I going to find that?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to find it here. He talks about how he would come out of it, but the fact that was always there, the fact that he was more withdrawn, that I honestly think this stuff is going on all the time. I think that it's most intense and that others are able to see it, like Sam.
That's right.
But I think that he is dealing with this every single day.
Come on. I think he is too. So he says, like, what the words we catch are, "It is gone forever, and now all is dark and empty." Those are some dark words. That's a lot. And now all is dark and empty. So Arwen really kind of foresaw that he would need this. And I think that's amazing that there's that passage given, that gift is given. And so, he's clutching to that, holding on to that, and trying to fight through this. So now we get into, we move on from that. Sam comes back from his travels and stuff, and really there's not much, we kind of forget about that for a second, Frodo's fit. And he when Bag End is ready to go, he says, "Sam, why don't you move in with me? Come on, move in with me. And we'll get you all set up here." And Sam is a little resistant. Why? Because Rosie Cotton. He wants to marry Rose. Good for him. And how's that make you feel?
Okay,
Joe?
well, first, I just want to say I think this is hilarious. I can just picture this happening in modern day. Like, the book here is like, when all was at last ready, Frodo said, "When are you going to move in and join me, Sam?" Sam looked a bit awkward. "Hey, bro, you wanna move in with me?" And Sam's like,
So
here's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's great, I love this, is that Bag End is big enough for like multiple families to live in. Really, it's huge. It's massive. And so he kind of says, "Well, do it. Marry her and get in here. Move in. Let's go." And so 1420 is this year that is known for not only the greenery coming back and good harvest, good crop, and kids having golden hair, but weddings. All these weddings were taking place.
Strawberries and cream.
Another cream shot. But yeah, so in 1420, Sam marries Rose Cotton, which is awesome. So and they move in. They finally came to live at Bag End, and Sam thought himself lucky. Frodo knew that he was more lucky himself. Like Frodo's. Can I say something too? I thought about this. We talked about finding your rose cotton at the start of the show, and Sarah, I was talking about this. Goldberry's still here with us. I asked these guys. I said, "How do you find your rose cotton? What happened?" And they said, "Rose found them." You know, they kind of unexpectedly these things happen, and
I just want to point out that Sarah just rolled her eyes.
Oh, okay.
Is
Yeah,
that corny or something? It does kind of sound cliche, doesn't it?
Well,
Sometimes
I'm sure there's
cliches
more.
are true.
I'm sure there's more to it than that. More to it than that.
I'm sorry, I interrupted that beautiful monologue.
No. All I'm saying is, like, I think of Frodo and Bilbo not being married and not having. Well, for Bilbo, like this was his, his nephew, right? This is Uncle Bilbo, and I think it's also why I like these guys so much too, because I see why he wants to have Sam move in with his family and stuff.
Yep.
Almost bought that house next door, Lane.
I know you did. I know, man.
Almost.
Really?
I might actually take
Move out to the studio.
this garage here. I might actually
man.
just. So, watch out. So I just think that's interesting, and I think
Well,
Frodo
Bilbo was the same way, right? I mean, Bilbo never
Yeah.
got married. He never had at least that we know of anyway, any kind of like romantic interest. So, yeah, it's just these guys had quests that were like consuming.
Yeah.
You're welcome to move in if that's what you're asking.
Thank you so much. You see, Sarah gets me.
I'll
She
give you the
understands.
basement.
The basement, really.
Basement's nice and cool.
Non-existent, actually. There's a.
It's a good cellar.
Cellar?
It's a cellar.
bat
Oh,
cave.
the cellar.
How
Okay.
dare you disrespect the cellar?
can
You've
I have
never
the-
even been down there.
Can I have the attic?
Ooh,
With the bats? You want that?
Bat cave.
Actually, that'd be pretty cool if we finished it. That'd be a pretty cool place. You'd have to hunch over. You'd be like Gandalf in back
I would
end.
be-
Hey,
yeah,
dormers
yeah.
are cool.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Is that a
though.
French word or
Thank you
something?
for the offer.
Dormier?
Dormier? I don't know. I didn't speak French. I was a Spanish major. Now I use that degree to this day.
Good grief. What did you guys think about Merry and Pippin living together at Crick Hollow? I know you kind of referenced it already, but how fun
So
is that?
fitting. It's so fitting.
Right?
I feel like maybe Dom Monahan and Billy Boyd should have lived together at some point if they didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Like that just, it seems, I heard that and I was like, or I read that and I thought, that's like Dom and Billy. That's like them. Like they're such good friends, and it's cool that came through. Or I guess maybe it's cool that worked out in real life between those two.
Oh, yeah.
So that it came through on the screen and then just fortified the story itself. Yeah, the fact that they lived together and that they lived in that cottage, man, where the conspiracy was revealed, where Frodo had hoped to like find. Well, not really. I mean, he was lying about finding a new life there, but. It's just, I know it's cool. It's cool that they're out there just kind of hanging out and partying. Who knows what they're getting into?
Yeah.
Now, as a inexperienced Lord of the Rings reader,
Yeah,
where
well, join the
is
club.
Crick Hollow located?
East. It's in Buckland. It's just west of the Hedge.
Okay.
So all of Buckland
It's
is right between the Brandywine
Okay.
to the east of the Brandywine and to the west of the Old Forest. It's kind of sandwiched in there. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why they're kind of not as afraid. They mess around with water because they're so close
okay.
to it.
Yeah.
And they mess around with boats, which you're not
Yeah.
supposed to do. But yeah, Crick Hollow is north, and what's the other one in Buckland? Crap, that's just south of it. Just looking at that map yesterday, man. I was staring at that map all our last episode, and there was Crick Hollow is like a little north, and then just directly south is the other big one in Buckland. What is
I
it?
don't know.
I got a map here. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Look at him.
He's got him. He's got it. Good. Yeah, Crick Hollow. I've always liked that. Crick Hollow Cottage. Cottage is really cool. Just to think
Crick Hollow
that's-
College is actually there as well. It's a 4-year college.
Is it
and,
really?
Yeah. We need sweatshirts now that say Crick Hollow College, established 1420.
That would
That'd be pretty cool, right?
That'd be pretty cool. But they got to be having a good time there. Got to be having a good time
For sure.
They were called lordly.
Yeah.
These two, right?
Which just meant good.
Okay.
But I mean that's what they meant by it. They meant that it
Yeah.
was just good. It was good to see them. It was good to see like them dressed up in their mail and their attire and their swords and their shields,
That's
singing,
right. Yes,
and being jovial and riding all over the place real fast.
right.
It was a marvel.
Yeah.
It doesn't include a map of the Shire. I'm sorry. I have one at home,
That's a shame.
but
isn't it?
that's not
If I had
with
my
me.
phone, I could look it up. But it's
I'll find it eventually.
just drink and be merry,
Just
or Pippin. I don't know.
I'd rather
whatever.
be Pippin.
Yeah,
if that's
drink and be
okay.
Pippin.
Thank you.
Hey, there's another one. Drink and be Pippin. We're getting shirt ideas.
Yeah.
guys.
Drink and be Pippin. All right, that's great. That's actually a really good one.
I like that.
Doggone it, we're gonna have to cut it out so people don't. No, I'm just kidding.
They can. It's copyrighted.
copyright.
It's
Yeah.
copyrighted. Guys.
Drink and be merry.
2020.
Or Pippin.
or Pippin. Yeah.
Yep.
So as you say though, Frodo and Sam decided to go back to normal kind of attire though. They did not actually.
Every once in a while,
continue
they dress up in those long gray
That's
cloaks, right, with their brooches or
That's
brooches or however you want to broach the subject.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you guys have thoughts on this. You can maybe share, but this is where Sam starts to realize that he, Merry, and Pippin seem to have more honor, more renown, more whatever, based upon their deeds and stuff. And Frodo was kind of forgotten a little bit.
That's kind of what I was getting
Yeah.
at when we were talking about him as mayor.
Yeah.
Like Frodo kind of isn't as acknowledged as much.
It's something in it. I mean, it's interesting the types of deeds that stand out in your mind, and that these guys were. I don't know that when like those acts of. That's why I think Mother Teresa is so fascinating, and it's amazing that like those acts of kindness and grace and just acts of healing,
Service
and things, service, were captured, and so that's sort of what Frodo does there at the Battle of Bywater and kind of continues to do. But then he struggles with this fight. He says that he is wounded.
Yeah.
Sam finds him there right after that. He says that he finds him once again, and he says to him, I'm wounded, and it will never heal.
Yeah.
It will never heal.
I also really, really do think it has to do with like their demeanor even back in the Shire, like what they're doing. Like, we saw Sam as the gardener. He's restoring the lushness of the Shire. The trees are coming back. The weeds are gone. The homes are being remade. And Merry and Pippin are just these larger-than-life hobbits riding around everywhere. Like it's like you spot them. Hey, did you see the lordly fellas? Did you see him over there? But where's Mr. Frodo? Well, he's not around. We're not. He's up in his hole somewhere, locked away. He's quiet. He's struggling. So hobbits, they respond to who's dancing on the table.
Right.
It's that they're a wonderful audience. You think about how Bilbo was so popular with his speech and his riddles and
Stories
and he was more mysterious, granted, but he didn't suffer the same kind of hurt that Frodo is or the wounds that Frodo's dealing with. So Frodo's not out there. He's probably not the happiest guy at a party. He's probably not, flying around on his horse. He's definitely not dressed up and he didn't have any regalia. He didn't have a sword and a shield. Well, he did, but it wasn't the colors of Rohan.
Proudly.
Yeah. He was wearing orc armor in Mordor, so might have something to do with it too. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. As you say, 1421 though. These years keep going by, and Frodo still remains sick. And I think you're right, Lane. I think he was sick most days, but it was worse on those days of like those Memorial days, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's something kind of exciting though. That all passes. He's able to kind of conceal it a bit, and then on the 25th of March, a date that Sam noted. I'm sorry, that was when he was sick. Moving past that though, they start to talk about his next child, or I'm sorry, his first child, and Sam has a bit of an issue because he was going to name the lad Frodo.
Vigo. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it ends up that this is he's not having a boy,
That's right, baby.
having a girl.
Get those
And
girls.
He wants to name. I think they say just like the other maid children, they want to name name her after a flower, like Rose or something, And he helps Sam kind of recall. I think the thing is he wanted to kind of honor Frodo in some way.
Sure.
And so it's also fitting that Frodo helps him come to
The
that
name.
naming.
And it was Frodo who even said, "What's wrong with the old customs of naming
Yes.
maiden children after the girls after flowers?" It's a good thing that hobbits do.
I do like the gaffer's advice in all of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Make it short, and then you won't have to cut it short before you can use it.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
Tim,
is awesome.
Bob, Ron.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hobnob. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Lane.
Yep.
My
Joe.
real name.
Joe. Ezra. Oh, that's
See, we
kinda
cut
long.
mine short. Gosh.
Ez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glorfindel.
It happens. Glory. Call him Glory.
Oh, glory.
Hey, Glory Findel.
Yeah, what is the short on Glorfindel? Hey, Glor.
Glor.
Hey, Glor.
Lord bless him. Glor bless him.
Glor
bless
bless
him.
him.
That's another shirt.
All right, so yeah, but Sam says he thinks she's just beautiful,
Yeah.
so beautiful, and Frodo says, well, Sam, he says, remember the Eleanor,
Yeah.
the sun star,
Yeah.
right? That golden flower
Yeah.
that grew there in Lothlorien,
Yep.
and he's like, you're right, Mr. Frodo, and that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted because he wanted to honor Frodo by naming.
I didn't even catch that reading it.
And it's like, wow, okay, so he wants that. So, yeah, yep. So there is that. So here we go. Little Eleanor was nearly 6 months old, and 1421 had passed to its autumn when Frodo called Sam into his study. It will be Bilbo's birthday on Thursday, Sam, and he will have passed Old Took.
131, right?
131.
Yep. 131. Wow. So he will, said Sam.
Isn't it funny, too? Because it seems like from Sam saying that, you think they're all so busy doing other things that they've forgotten Bilbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not Frodo. Frodo, constantly through this entire thing has been thinking about his uncle. From comparing his own journey and experiences to Bilbo's to wanting to get back to Rivendell after this is all over to be able to see Bilbo to thinking about him here. It's his birthday. Even if you recall, before this adventure even started, once Bilbo left, Frodo went on having Bilbo's birthday parties. And people thought it was like, oh, it's, after he disappeared.
Yeah.
He disappeared and left, and people were like, oh, it's cute, yeah. And then it started getting kind of weird for everyone except Frodo. And he kept having those parties in honor of his uncle. They're like, he's not around anymore.
Right.
Well, I don't care. He could come back anytime, and I do this because I love my uncle. So
Millennia later, people would gather in the village of Amanda and reenact his
Yes,
birthday.
that's
True.
right. That's right.
actually, the amount of years is kind of up for debate, isn't it? How old would he have really been?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Easy now.
It's a party one
Oh,
discussion.
for full circle. It's full circle.
Full circle, indeed.
All right. So now this is where we get. This is something else. I mean, they're talking about his birthday and how he wants to go see Bilbo. And he says, "See if Rose will let
This
you."
is the end, man.
This is it, man. See if Rose will let you go for a fortnight. We'll see you in a fortnight.
yeah,
Fortnight
hey,
farewell.
Sarah, is it okay if we borrow Lane for a fortnight?
I know, wasn't that funny? They were talking. It's how modern are we? That they were talking about that, and he said just a short while, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a couple days, fortnight. I'm like, holy crap, that's 2 weeks.
I know.
Just a short while. It's like you
Yeah,
forget
it'll just be a fortnight.
how long it takes them to travel all these distances,
Boy,
and man,
This is beautiful, though. I mean,
Yeah,
he
it is.
knows it's a lot to ask. He says, tell Rose that you won't be away very long, not more than a fortnight, and you'll be quite safe.
and Sam starts suspecting something, right? I think it's a little bit after this.
Yeah.
He starts suspecting that this isn't. We're not just going to see Bilbo.
That's right. Because
Yeah.
he says, I wish I could go all the way to Rivendell with you, Mr. Frodo, and see Mr. Bilbo, and yet the only place I really want to be is here.
torn in two.
Man.
I'm torn in
I'm
two.
torn in
I-
two.
I-
We want to move on, right? But we want to stay right here.
That's
in
right.
Lord of the Rings.
And it comes back up a little later, but I just love that imagery. And it's so relatable of you have two desires. Sometimes they're both pure in motive, and sometimes one is more pure than the other, but it's you want to pursue two different paths.
Oh, yeah.
And you're very, very torn.
Yeah.
And I love, and you have a good friend when you have someone that helps point you in the right direction of saying listen, I would love for you to be here with me, but your loyalties lie with your family. And I want you to come with me, but I also know that your wife and your kids is the priority.
I mean, that's beautiful. Yeah, and the beauty that Frodo's seeing that Sam probably doesn't, I guess, is Frodo saying exactly what you're saying, Joe.
Yeah.
Frodo's we had our journey, man.
Yeah.
We had our adventure. You're new adventure, your next adventure lies here in the Shire. Like that's the whole reason we went, is so it could be saved for people like you.
Yeah.
And it's also part of your job now to make sure no one ever forgets.
Yeah.
Make sure that no one forgets what happened. Because when we learn that lesson with Gondor, right? You forget about the strength of the enemy. You let your guard down. You forget. You become complacent. Mm-hmm. And that darkness has a chance to come back in. But if you're vigilant and you remember the past, and you remember what was lost and what was won, then things can remain, I don't know, peaceful. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's one of his jobs, right? I mean, essentially and that the last pages are for you.
Yeah.
There's more story to be written. Is there a fourth book? Or a seventh book or whatever?
Maybe.
The Return of Morgoth.
Maybe. We'll look at the titles here.
What?
The titles of the book that's left. Like we're going to go over those here for just a sec.
What do you mean?
It's
he
the
says,
next part.
yeah, it's in the book.
Oh, shoot. Are we reading still?
Yeah. But you will be healed. He tells Sam that although he's torn apart, that he's meant to be whole. He's meant to be whole.
Yeah, you were meant to be solid and whole, and you will be.
Right.
That's so beautiful.
And I'm going to save this, but I think we're going to have a big talk at the end of this because there's a lot to unpack.
We haven't done that already? I'm joking. So
go ahead.
Are we on that page?
We're almost there.
Oh, sorry.
We're almost there. So in the next day or two, Frodo went through his papers and his writings with Sam, and he handed over his keys.
Kind of a big sign.
At that point,
As if I went up to Joe, if I went up to you, and I was like, hey, man, we're going on this trip, be here at this time. And then I go, all right, ready to set out. Here you go. Here's the keys to my home. You'd be like, duh, what?
Uh-huh.
What is going on here?
What's going on?
Okay.
Yep.
So there is no going back here. Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah. So.
A part of me wishes he just would have come out and said, hey, Sam, I'm leaving. So you're not tormented, okay? Mm-hmm. So you're not wondering and having. But maybe this.
This parallels exactly the beginning.
I know.
It's sort of something's up.
Honestly, it's a natural. It's
dropping eaves.
It's more of a natural way to deal with something, to give people clues. It's more respectful.
Yeah.
And that way you're not reeling from something all at once. It's like, okay.
It's not a giant bombshell.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes, and also you can see Frodo. I just want to slip away.
Yeah.
And I if you can come
Story
a little
of
bit.
my life.
That's awesome. But if not, I'll just slip away here. It's okay.
Yep.
So at the beginning, so they go over the book. They talk about this big book with plain red leather cover. Its tall pages were now almost filled. And at the beginning, there were many leaves covered with Bilbo's thin, wandering hand, but most was written in Frodo's firm, flowing script.
How many times did Bilbo change that dang title?
Oh my gosh!
Let's just read through
yes,
the initial draft.
Go ahead,
please.
Shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
My diary. No. My unexpected journey.
Right.
Okay.
Better.
There and back again. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Bilbo
and
was.
what happened after?
Bilbo was playing a name game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
There you go.
Yeah,
Talk
he
about
was.
more full circle there.
Yeah.
Yep. Adventures of 5 Hobbits. I like that.
All right. Yeah.
The Tale of the Great Ring, compiled by Bilbo Baggins from his own observations and the accounts of his friends.
Longest title ever.
That's straight Tolkien too.
What we did in the War of the Ring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all potential winners, but, here's Bilbo's hand ended and Frodo had written The Downfall of the Lord of the Rings and The Return of the King. That's got a nice ring to it.
That's
Beautiful,
good.
isn't it?
That's good.
I love
That's
also
good.
too the implication that that was the original title, and as the Lord of the Rings has been handed down, I think it was Emma Rose Kolk who a long time ago caught something that I was stumbling around. Didn't really. I was like, wait, the Man in the Moon, and all these allusions to the origins of our fairy tales and our Mother Goose rhymes and our songs that are breadcrumbs throughout this. That is Tolkien saying this is a prehistory. This did really happen. This came before stuff that even we count as old. And so it's just cool to see the title. Titles get shortened, right? We get lazy. We leave stuff off. We don't want to read the full thing. So this book that we're reading is actually called The Downfall of the Lord of the Rings and the Return of the King.
Yeah.
But what we call it is thousands and thousands of years later is Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
just cool. It's just like,
It is.
I don't know, like it's just a way that he. I wonder how exhausted he was just from his brain, or if it just fired him up. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
all the little details he put in, the thought he put into it. It makes me tired.
Yeah, it is something. There's so many details to it, and it's to think all the way back to the beginning of the series and the parallels and the full circleness of this.
Yeah.
You know,
Circality.
the circality. All right.
Do you think you could smoke something out of that staff?
If I could hold one more thing in my hands right now, I would.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because it would be an impressive task.
would be.
I'm kind of disappointed your hat's no longer on your foot.
I know. I'm unfortunately. I'll see if I can get it back on here. Don't no, Lane. I don't need. Hey, Lane. I don't need you. I got you. I got
I
you.
don't need you.
What a Frodo attitude to have.
Wow.
I don't need you, Sam.
I could bear this burden alone. All right. Wow. There's like a spider though that just jumped on me. That's okay.
Hopefully it has radioactive powers.
Hopefully.
The one benefit of getting bitten by a spider.
So basically, we go over the book. We look at the translations. We talk about this for a bit, and then it is said that he's like, "Wow, you've almost pretty much finished this." He says, "I have quite finished, Sam," said Frodo. "The last pages are for you."
Oh, man. I don't know about you guys, but that line of like, you and I have been in this whole time, and this is not just my story to write. This is a collaborative effort. I have put my part in this, but this story is just as much yours as it is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
It's like in keeping true to the character that he's built in Frodo, right?
Yeah.
Selfless, collaborative,
Mm.
share the load.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It is awesome. There's several little hints too that Frodo understands that he is a ring bearer.
Yeah.
Sam, even for a bit.
If he had not, the ring would have been lost.
Yes.
So maybe one of the most crucial ring bearers, honestly.
It's crazy. He does say that it is. He will be healed, but I mean, he understands that little bird and that little load that he bore was traumatic for Sam, and that's part of the tearing that he kind of deals with.
Tearing's never good.
No. So then on September the 21st, they set out together, and this is where they don't really know where they're going. They set out on their ponies.
They're going to the Woody End, right? They're kind of going southeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Strider.
Strider.
And
right?
William the pony.
Bill.
Bill.
Bye-bye, Bill.
Good boy, Bill. Is
Bill.
he a new character? Or?
No, he's been around.
Oh, he has been around.
This is full circle.
Bill the pony? Don't you know, man? It's like
Ride the pony.
Gimli, Legolas,
Bill the pony.
Bill the pony.
Bill the pony.
It really is.
Ride the pony. Hey, Bill the pony. Yeah. Ride the pony.
That's really good.
Is he showing off because I'm here?
Maybe.
It does make me feel inspired, honestly. Looking
Yeah.
over and seeing your
You
eyes.
just-
I don't know if
Bring
you call
that
this
out of
showing
him.
off.
Take
but
your sunglasses off, please. I want to see your
Yeah.
eyes.
Look
if you
out
want to. If you want to. I'm not
Goldberry's just off
telling
camera,
my wife
guys.
what to do.
Goldberry's
Just for everyone out
just off-
there.
Well, here we go. Black
Perfect
Riders are
marriage.
back, baby. Here we are. Makes sense. That's fitting. So they actually they're not back. Don't worry, we're good.
Thank God. I was going
thank
to say, is this a
God,
rewrite?
what?
What's going on? Peter
This is
Jackson?
rewriting the story.
What are my lines?
No, they end up seeing the tree where Frodo hid behind. When the Black
Yeah.
Riders, he first sees them, he kind of hides behind that tree. He's
Seems
wow,
like a
look at
dream
that.
now.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may,
Yeah.
just a quick tangent. A lot of times when I'm walking down like a path, like in a park and stuff like that, I'll like to like
See one that looks
yell
like
at
it.
my friend and be like, "Get off the road!"
Quick.
And
That's
now we
funny.
can continue. Yeah.
That's hysterical. no. I yeah. I need more of that in my life.
The cool thing is you can go visit that tree in New Zealand.
Really?
It's in a park somewhere. Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
But have you ever seen a tree like that and you're like those trees are those just that like the roots are worn or what or bare, and there's a mud wall.
Mhm.
Is that what they're called? Mud walls? And you just look like you're thinking if there was something
ditch?
on a road.
Lane's face right now.
Yeah, ditch.
I tried to.
A ditch. Have you ever seen a tree though? You know that resembles that from the film, and you're like, that could be.
Yes.
Like where it's
I
hollowed
have.
out underneath and you can hide under?
Thanks for showing my ineptness. I appreciate that.
Oh, no. I just, for clarification's sake.
Sure.
The people who are listening can't see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Twofold. They can't see it and they cannot understand.
I'm sorry,
Touche.
those
I'm sorry.
Touche.
If we aren't three hobbits having a good time, I really don't know. I mean, literally, I'm waiting for Rosie Cotton over here to reel us in and say,
I can't believe she's still here. She's got to be like, what?
Oh,
what?
my goodness. Here we are, though. We're right here, though. This is honestly like the climax of this whole bad boy. So, they hear some singing. Well, actually, Frodo starts singing. He starts singing a little bit. And I don't know if anybody wanted to take up song on this.
Looking at Lane's book right now, he just has "Whoa" written by it, so I think he should.
I knew it was important because it was a song. So I wanted, when my girls read this someday, I want them to go, Dad knew this was a big deal.
Loud.
That was pretty loud, but it's fine.
That was good. At least it's, you get that close, baby.
Yeah.
You don't be afraid of Mike. We want your voice. I can sing the Elvish part because it's in the appendices.
That's fine.
I mean,
Joe and I can sing the first
edition.
part.
Yeah.
You ready?
Here
Here we go. Okay, we'll sing it along while Lane is singing
Wait,
that.
what? We're singing it simultaneously?
Simultaneously.
Yeah. Ready?
Guys, this is going to be our worst
and
song
a one,
ever.
and a two,
Two,
and
and
a
a
1, 2, 3.
Still
round the
Wait, do you guys even know the
corner
tune?
may wait a new road or a secret gate. And though I oft have passed them by, a day will come at last when I shall take.
I'm glad I wrote. Whoa. I feel the same way after hearing that.
we
There
gotta
was
finish.
some parallel structure, I thought, in the Elvish and the.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, there's
right?
something lost in translation there for sure.
Yeah,
I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the
That's
notes.
pretty good, though.
I was also singing in Dwarfish, so that
I
might have been
see.
some of the
We
disconnect.
got the okay. Go for it, Lane. We got this.
Oh yeah, you got.
Dude, I don't know if I can do this now. Now I'm a little. You guys just stole the show.
We intimidated you, didn't we?
Yeah, so this is a beautiful piece of music / composition from the appendices.
Mm-hmm.
Not the appendices. Why do I keep saying that? The extended edition of the Fellowship of the Ring. It's when they see the oh my gosh. What's his name?
Gildor?
Gildor.
Yeah.
Gildor and Glorion and the elves passing through and going. It's ironic because they're singing the song going to the Grey Havens.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right, and so they have this in the film. They just kind of Sam, wood elves, and they run up, and everything gets gray, and they're walking. Ayelbereth, Githoniel, Siliveren, Penemirel, O Menela, Gladelenav, Githoniel, Aelbereth.
That's beautiful.
I think I went out of tune there at
No,
the
no,
end,
no,
but
it was
Yeah,
good.
I was faltering.
No, it was good.
That was actually really good.
I know. I'm not being
But that
sarcastic.
actually,
That
you
was
can
good.
find that. You can find that on the complete recordings
Yeah.
that Howard Shore released, which we should have had as kids.
Yes.
That didn't come out until like the Hobbit years.
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous, but it's I think it goes on for like 4 or 5 minutes. They do all the different verses, and it's not even so. It's amazing when they feature artists. They don't always list them. It was like some sort of Celtic Kiwi quartet or something called Oasis, or I don't even know what. No, Oasis is an actual band.
Yeah.
Something different, right? And they're uncredited, but their voices are beautiful, and it meshes perfectly with, especially in that album, Enya. Right, the sound that her or the feelings that her voice evokes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's beautiful. It's worth listening to. It's great study music or inspiration for art and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll drink to that.
absolutely. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get that cream in you. But there are more lines. We still remember We who dwell in this far land beneath the trees, the starlight on the western seas.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so this is a lot. Yeah, he's singing. They're met by singing, and they come across these elves. Like, was this prearranged?
It had to have been.
Yes. Yes, and that's the thing, and it's so cool that this happens, that this is known. I mean, Arwen, the giving of that gift.
Yeah,
and
they were
everything,
never going to Rivendell.
Yeah,
What?
no, yeah, it's great, it's great. So they halt and they sat in silence, right? And then they're approached. We see Gildor was there, and many fair elven folk, and there to Sam's wonder rode Elrond and Galadriel. And it just goes over sort of their attire. They're wearing their rings, the rings of power, right? We'll see in this chapter the 3 elven rings. So that's pretty cool. Elrond and Galadriel both greet them there, and Galadriel, it's like she already knows that Sam has used his gift to heal the Shire already.
Yeah.
Already
She
knows.
felt it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like makeup she puts on normally that she was missing, and she's like, "Where's that makeup?
Yeah.
I know it's making up the Shire.
That's what she sounds like.
I know he took it
Galadriel.
full." You hear those birds over there?
I hope people can hear those birds.
I think that's a mating ritual. I'm not even joking.
Really.
Just out in the open.
Again, we're talking a lot about Rosie Cotton and how things work, so
Fitting.
fitting.
Okay.
But all right. They also, though, so not only are we seeing that, like, the gift is used and Galadriel is like congratulating Sam for doing that, Bilbo is there.
Bilbo? Isn't it his birthday?
Bilbo, it's his birthday. He's like, "Hello, Frodo."
Again, not a coincidence.
Well, I've passed old Took today, right? Coming out of a sleep, that's the first thing you remember. It's like, let me remind you, So, so that's settled, which is great. That's just an easy way to say that's settled.
I passed it. It's
Done in the record books. Let's go.
Mark it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so now he's quite ready for another adventure, and he says, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" "Yes, I'm coming," said Frodo. "The ring bearers should go together." And Sam turns to his master and he says, "Where are you going, master?" Though at last he understood what was happening.
That's
there's
why
a
he
part of
gave
him-
me the keys.
The aha moment.
Yep.
Don't you think there's part of it? Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm just reading this now and thinking it. Is there a part of Sam, because he knows that he was also a ring bearer for a short time, where he's like, "They talking about me too?"
Me too. I bet for us
For a millisecond, and then he's like,
maybe.
"Oh no, definitely not. Oh, he's leaving."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But my family. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet.
You're with me on that? You could see that
I
kinda
bet
happening?
for like even if just for like a fraction of a second, he was like, "Oh no, okay." I see
Well,
what
and
you're
especially if we're talking about him being torn in two and feeling like
saying. Oh yeah.
attached to Frodo and always with Frodo and also his family. I could see him, at least for a moment, a flash, thinking like, "Oh, we're all going." Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Not me.
I mean, even this exchange here, Frodo says, "To the haven, Sam," and he replies, "And I can't come."
Yes.
Almost like
That's
is that a
exactly-
question?
Yes.
Or is it like I'm coming to terms like, "Oh, you're going and I'm not coming with you."
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. So and he even says like they talk about how Sam he acknowledges that he is a ring bearer and that he will be whole and that he'll need to be whole for many years, but that his time may come. And I'm just like, gee, many Christmas. Like, the impact that Frodo has is accelerated so much because of the quest that he went on. Bilbo, again, had the ring for many more years than Frodo, but yet wasn't as close to Mordor, wasn't in much peril with it. It was hidden away. And Sam, though, is also marked by it as well. So, I mean, there's a lot to say there. There's a lot in those words that would suggest that maybe there'll come a time where he may, whether it's just an ending or it is a great travel. There's who knows, but
if I may,
yeah,
I think this is just, it bears reading again, going back into the torn in two. Do not be too sad, Sam. You cannot be always torn in two. You will have to be one and whole for many years. You have so much to enjoy and to be and to do. Man, I don't know. Like, that's just like...
That makes it into the film, too. That's actually a voiceover from Elijah Wood when Frodo, where when Sam is walking back to
That's right.
his home,
That's right.
and embracing his Rosie and picking up Eleanor.
Yeah.
And it's right before the final line.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool that they took that and put that in.
I think that's really special because it goes back to his like internal struggle of like where should I be right now?
Yeah.
Where is my rightful place?
Yeah. Okay, and so I might have missed this because I can't remember. Does he tell Frodo that he's feeling torn in two? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Okay. How crazy would it be if he even just kind of felt that? Like if Sam would have never even used that phrasing,
right?
And that Frodo says here, like, you can't be torn in two.
Yeah,
right.
Like
he
I know,
just knows
I know you're
enough.
feeling that way, but and I guess it is also kind of that he would have had to remember that conversation, but also would have felt it, like that he has this devotion to him, and even back in the beginning of the chapter where Frodo talks about, he knew how lucky he was because no other Hobbit in the Shire and no other Hobbit's property in the Shire was so well looked after than he because of Sam.
Yeah.
Bag End was a jewel. He was taken care of. He didn't need anything. Wow.
Yeah.
As the sun sets, my friend.
I know.
In the west.
As it sets. I know. It's crazy. This is crazy. So he says that, Sam is upset because he thinks that Frodo should have many more years left in the Shire. And he says that he thought so too.
Yeah.
He thought that he would. But I have been too deeply hurt, Sam. I tried to save the Shire, and it has been saved, but not for me. It must often be so, Sam. When things are in danger, that someone has to give them up, lose them, so that others may keep them. And that's exactly what Frodo does.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he does. And he understands that and I think, in a way, knowing he did that, and he saved it for others, is everything Frodo needs.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right? I think that's everything he needs. So, wow.
He has that peace of mind of knowing that the Shire's been saved. He accomplished what he set out to do, and that's all he needs.
Right.
Yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
Don't you even think that, like, him leaving is a part of that as well? Like, he's able to finally maybe fully, because he's disconnecting, he's like, okay, finally.
Yeah.
I'm not even in it anymore.
No, right, exactly.
I'm leaving, I'm going to a different realm.
That's right.
Like, now it can be fully theirs.
Yep.
And maybe that's why this time has been so hard for him, too, is it's like he's still been enjoying, a restored Shire, and it's like, well, this isn't even the point. It's not for me.
Right.
I don't know.
No, for sure. I get that, 100%. Frodo tells him that he's his heir. He says to Sam that you are my heir, and everything will pass to him. And it's kind of interesting. I think, Frodo and his far-seeingness, right, and his ability to see into the future. He says you have Rose, you have Eleanor, and Frodo lad will come, and Rosie lass, and Mary, and Goldilocks, and Pippin, and perhaps more that I cannot see.
He has a ton of kids. I want to say like 18 children.
Yeah, well, the crazy the idea is that Frodo can see that, and that he predicts that and sees it.
So is this the same Goldilocks that encounters
Come on.
Beorn and his
that's hilarious.
his siblings?
You're
or
right.
His wife and child?
You're darn right. You are on it. Absolutely.
Man. You see what I did there?
I did. Elaine did. Yeah. Let's see. It'll keep you busy. Yeah, the kids are going to keep you busy, right? He says, now come ride with me.
I hear that.
Yeah. Elrond and Galadriel rode on, for the Third Age was over, and the days of the rings were past, and an end was come in the story and the song of those times. With them went many elves of the high kindred, who would no longer stay in Middle-earth, and among them filled with sadness, that was yet blessed without bitterness rode Sam and Frodo, Bilbo, and the elves delighted to honor them. So you have these 3 hobbits riding with the elves as they go along. They came at last to the gates, and Círdan, the shipwright, had come forth to greet them. He was very tall. Pretty cool to kind of actually meet Círdan and see him.
That's
Yeah.
how it's pronounced.
Círdan.
Círdan. Sounds very Celtic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
true.
It's a possible boy name. Círdan.
For children.
Oh, well, yeah.
For yours?
For your child. I mean, maybe for mine. We'll see. Círdan.
Is that a
Could you
strong
imagine?
commitment? Are
Pretty
you going to
cool.
name your son Círdan?
Círdan. I mean,
Círdan Lewis? That's pretty cool.
Annalise is a big Tolkien fan, so I think
Name a girl Lucy. Name a boy Círdan.
just alternate Narnia and Tolkien.
Back and forth. Yep.
That's fine.
Baggins forth.
Baggins. All right, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, no. So then Círdan actually leads them to the havens, and there was a white ship. There was a white ship there waiting for them, right? So, and as they approach, and they come across someone who they hadn't seen in a bit.
Who is it?
Gandalf.
Gandalf?
Gandalf is there. He's wearing openly the ring,
The ring.
right? And this really, it's
This
weird.
is like the final nail, isn't it,
It's
for
it.
Sam?
It's the final net. Like he sees Gandalf is also
like,
leaving.
come on.
Gandalf is going,
No more fireworks.
and it's really hard, I think, for him, just because like he'll probably never like seeing the Fellowship. It all is just going away. He still had his friends. He still had Frodo. Gandalf was the potential was there. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's all going away so fast. So yeah, he was now sorrowful at heart, and it seemed to him that if the partings would be bitter, more grievous still would be the long road home alone.
Oh, that's true because Merry and Pippin aren't here yet.
That's
yeah,
right.
Right.
But even as they stood there, and the elves were going aboard, and all was being made ready to depart, up rode Merry and Pippin in great haste. And amid his tears, Pippin laughed. "You tried to give us the slip once before and failed, Frodo," he said. "This time, you nearly succeeded, but you have failed again. It was not Sam, though, that gave you away this time, but Gandalf himself." "Yes," said Gandalf, "for it would be better to ride back 3 together than 1 alone."
Here again, I love how even in this last moments in Middle Earth that Gandalf is this orchestrator. He's working things behind the scenes for the best of for everyone's best and everyone's benefit, I guess, right? He knew, like he thought this. And that's what Gandalf does, isn't it? He thinks everything through all the way. Like Frodo's leaving, I'm going. Sam will be going home alone. He didn't have to think about Sam.
Right.
But remember, the fact that Sam went with Frodo on this quest, he deemed a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you can find someone to bring with you, I wouldn't discourage it. So I would not send one home on their own as well.
Yeah.
Deep, man.
People
Deep.
wonder why Tolkien was the author of the century. Let me tell you right now.
That right there.
I'll tell you, seriously, those
That
things,
alone.
those connections
Yeah.
are deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, they
wild.
Are. Yeah.
To understand that, to have someone like Gandalf who can say, although I'm going away, I won't leave you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Right? I'll
That-
send.
and, yeah, because
right?
and Sam's thinking the Fellowship's it's at an end and I'm losing everyone, and Gandalf showing him, no, you're not losing everyone.
Mm-mm.
No, you're not. You're losing one. Here are 2.
Right.
Here are 2
That we're with you. This
that
whole
were
time.
with you. That
Yeah.
they didn't have the same. You didn't have the same relationship with them as you did with Frodo. But that's passing on.
Mhm.
These are going to be your friends in the future. These are going to be the ones that you grow into friendship with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, dude.
I know. It's honestly wonderful.
And that their common bond is Frodo. That their connection was Frodo. I mean, they have common interest in that alone. They have a shared friend, mutual friend.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna read this.
Yeah.
All right. If this is okay.
Yeah, of course.
Whew. Yeah. Yes, said Gandalf, for it would be better to ride back together than 1 alone. Well, here at last, dear friends, on the shores of the sea comes the end of our fellowship in Middle-earth. Go in peace. I will not say, do not weep, for not all tears are an evil. They've got to, I mean, they got to be crying, dude. I mean, this is like, their friend is leaving.
Yeah.
This is, he's gone.
Yeah.
This is death.
Yeah.
This is what Tolkien said, that this is a story about, like, this is that departure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even though we don't see Frodo die or kill, this is something more, actually.
Yeah.
You get to see him, and it's described, and I'll go back to it in a second, but they're parting with their friend, and they've gathered in a small little memorial celebration here to see him off. And it's just unbelievable. And it actually does make me think a little bit of like a life celebration.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how the parting of one person will bring people back together.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah. And then Gandalf there to see that, like, they'll be okay because they have each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that Frodo's spirit and that is there among them, and that they can ride back together with each other and can continue and carry on that memory. I'm going to talk about Frodo when we're done with this because there's a lot. So then Frodo kissed Merry and Pippin, and last of all Sam, and they went aboard. And the sails were drawn up and the wind blew, and slowly the ship slipped away down the long grey firth. And the light of the glass of Galadriel that Frodo bore glimmered and was lost. And the ship went out into the high sea and passed on into the west, until at last on a night of rain, Frodo smelled a sweet fragrance on the air and heard the sound of singing that came over the water. Can you imagine that? No. As you're sailing, he smells this sweet fragrance, and he hears singing. And then it seemed to him that as in his dream in the house of Bombadil, let me remind you, we're back to Bombadil. And it seemed to him that as in his dream in the house of Bombadil, the gray rain curtain turned all to silver glass and was rolled back, and he beheld white shores, and beyond them a far green country under a swift sunrise. I'm really glad for Frodo.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that he gets there. I'm telling you what,
Yeah.
I cannot believe. I'm going to say this now because there are not many books, series that cause me to get this emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
I
I
know,
cannot believe it. Like, I read I'm in other fandoms. I read other things. I like other sci-fi, fantasy. This is why he's the best.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
We got to see past the curtain just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know how hard it was for Frodo, and he's there, friends. He's made it.
Made it.
So we want everyone to know, right? And we'll say it again at the end of the show.
It's crazy. Frodo lives.
He does. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
To everything we've said is right there.
Yeah.
Frodo goes on. And better than that is that his memory lives on, and that his friends are going to ride back now and think about him and the great deeds that he did. And that's why I brought up, like, he has no descendants. And that's something else, right? He doesn't have children, but he does have his friends, his companions,
His legacy.
his legacy.
Yeah.
And he's got that, and that lives on. Like, he names Sam his heir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to how Bilbo did Frodo. I mean, it's so cool. I think it's so interesting. It's very different. It's not.
It is.
It's not typical.
No,
you know?
it's not typical. Yeah.
And so that, to me, there are those people. That's why I'm like so floored. I don't know why it took me clear into the end of the series to really think about that, and to think about that he just lived this life. He has his book, writes it down. His time is done, and it's time for him to go to his eternal rest.
Yeah.
And for him to, I mean, this is the rest that he needed. The rest of them now, you know, Merry and Pippin and Sam are resting now in their country, and they've healed it, and this is their great rest.
Yeah.
They are resting here, and there'll be a final rest eventually, but it was not that world. Frodo gave up. He had to give up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything so that they could have it all.
Yeah.
So we go back to our original conversation back at like the Council of Elrond, and I'm sitting here going, Bilbo, yes, was a great ring bearer, and there were many things that he had to kind of like endure, and that the ring had a great, yes, he gives it up willingly and things like that. But wow, You can't compare the two, Lane.
No.
No.
You can't, guys.
No,
I
you
mean,
can't.
Struggles are very different.
they're so different. They're
Yeah.
so different.
I think honestly, where that's seen the most has been in these last 2 chapters.
Yeah.
It's been in the like how Frodo has had to deal with that trauma and the ramifications of that. And I think Bilbo gave it up and he missed adventure, right? But he went to Rivendell and he got to just kind of
Retired.
retire. It literally that's the perfect way to see. He retired. There was none of that for Frodo. When he came back to retirement, his home was destroyed, and he had to help right that. And even that was grievous. That was like another burden he had to bear to make sure that hobbits didn't kill one another. To make sure that he did everything he could to make sure there was no unnecessary death. And then it's restored, but it's not the same. It's not the place that he left, and he's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same hobbit. He'll never be the same hobbit. Wistfully wishing for adventure and then surviving a quest are 2 very different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like I love that Valinor is described this way with the far green country. It's his new Shire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that place born again in him. Like it's a new, true adventure. He's always loved elves. It's fitting that he's going to be with elves. In a way, you could say that Bilbo is his spouse.
Yeah.
Not in a traditional sense. What I mean is like the spouse of his heart. Like his one great love in this world was his uncle.
Yes.
His
Yeah.
uncle who saved him from being an orphan.
That's right.
His uncle who gave him everything. His uncle who named him his heir even though he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You know? Someone who stuck his neck out for him at every chance. He wanted to be like him. He was his hero. And we see that in the movies. I think we definitely see it even more here in the books. But he's with him. He's with Gandalf, like the great wizard, the great friend, the
mentor.
All right, I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say. Whatever. Who gives him great counsel,
Yeah.
and he's there in a place that we are looking at thinking, wow, that sounds like the Shire,
Yeah.
and it's the only place he could be. It's the only place he could be. It's the fitting ending for him, and in a ways, it's a new beginning for him, and it's what it's what you said. I'm happy for him because it's what he deserves, and his reward was long delayed. He should have had it right away, and he didn't. Everyone else got little pieces
suffered.
of theirs along the way, and he continued to suffer.
It's like 4 years or more that he suffers.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't really cover that, but like
So 4 times the journey itself.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He had to carry that for that long, and
with no one to relate to.
yeah,
No one can relate to him.
Not to the level.
No, not a chance. So no one to even really have conversations. You had to hide all that. He had to suffer his sickness on his own. It was only Sam that noticed because Sam, and even Sam being so busy, didn't notice probably as much as he could have.
Yeah.
And because he at that point was no longer just solely focused on Mr. Frodo. It was all kinds of things. So just a loneliness.
Yeah.
That now he no longer has to have.
Yep. Exactly. So this I think is interesting. So we get to see. Do you know why this is a story about death? It's these 2 paragraphs right here. So we actually, this is amazing. I think if you ask Tolkien, like, he says that after he's written it.
Yeah.
This is
and
the end.
When he was pushed to like.
Yeah, but like at the, and I only bring that up because that's where we're at right now.
Oh yeah.
It's a story about a great many other things.
Right.
For sure. But these last 2 paragraphs, we just saw where Frodo and where our loved ones go. Now watch this. But to Sam, the evening deepened to darkness as he stood at the haven, and he looked at the gray sea, and he saw only a shadow on the waters that was soon lost in the west. There still he stood far into the night, hearing only the sigh and the murmur of the waves on the shores of Middle-earth. That is exactly what that is. I mean, that is literally a parallel to our lost loved ones when they transcend.
Yeah.
And they go beyond.
Yeah.
Into the great unknown.
Yeah.
And we are here watching them go.
Those very differing perspectives. Like
Yeah.
they're transcending into light and completeness and beauty, and we're left just trying to pick up the pieces.
My friend-
and with shadows and memories and echoes.
Exactly. And I'll tell you right now, I don't know how long he spent on this line right here, but the gray rain curtain turned all to silver glass and was rolled back, and he beheld white shores and beyond them a far green country under a swift sunrise.
I mean, you could argue that's one of the best lines in
ever
the written language
ever.
Yeah.
I that's what I want it to look like,
Yeah,
and that's what I think it will look like.
yeah.
It's crazy. I think he gave it a great deal of thought.
Yes, he did.
You know, and
Yeah.
I really think he had to, you know, and as you say, what would Frodo see? And that's
Yeah.
what Frodo saw.
Yeah.
So that is amazing to me.
Yeah.
But beside Sam, stood Merry and Pippin, and they were silent. And that happens.
Silence.
People grieve in different ways.
Yeah.
And we
they
even throughout
stand
this, when you read all the way through, Joe, you'll find that like there are, after these huge moments, there's silence. They're silent because that's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like we're not silent enough, man, in these days. Like it's just you have to respond right away. You have to, you know, like on the. I don't know. There's something to just taking a minute, processing things,
Yeah.
honoring what just happened, if it's something good or bad, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not valued anymore. It's seen as a sign of weakness, like being
Yeah, it
silent.
is.
Like what? Well, like what are you doing, man? Like
Yeah.
I love to see those people who will let a moment sit. And you ask them a question and you don't give them the time to respond. You really didn't want the answer.
No.
yeah,
And so, like, there's a big lesson in silence and that wait time and appreciating that and respecting it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think it's interesting. And the last couple paragraphs here. So, at last the three companions turned away and never again looked back as they rode slowly homeward. And they spoke no word to one another until they came back to the Shire. But each, and this is something Joe brought up, but each had great comfort in his friends on the long gray road. Each had great comfort in his friends on the long gray road. At the last, they rode over the downs and took the east road, and Merry and Pippin rode on to Buckland. There they go, right? They're riding on. And already they were singing again. Already they were singing again. But Sam turned to Bywater, and so came back up the hill as day was ending once more, and he went on. And there was a yellow light and a fire within, and the evening meal was ready, and he was expected. He was expected. It's not unexpected.
we don't see expected very often.
No.
In
No,
this
he was
story.
expected.
Yep.
And Rose drew him in and set him in his chair and put little Eleanor upon his lap. He drew a deep breath. Well, I'm back, he said. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't want to like cut the silence short. I just want to get these out. There's a couple things that he does there that makes me think of that comparison of coming home. Makes me think of when they find Tom Bombadil's house.
Yep.
Golden light all around.
That's right.
And then also that word expected. I mean, we just kind of said jokingly, like, I expect, not much expect. I don't know how often that's been used in this story.
No, that's
Maybe this the first time? And is that an incredibly genius, intentional word choice of,
yes.
so far everything's been unexpected.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the end because we finally have something that is expected. And it's good, and it's where Sam should be.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about Sam. And also, the way, you know, like when I think about the last chapter when the hobbits came back and they would kind of tell stories about what they had done, and most hobbits were just trying to be polite, and they were just like, okay, yeah. Oh, you don't say, huh?
Right.
Oh, okay. The fact that he comes home and he doesn't even explain what happened, because in this story we've seen that that's not what it's about. It's about the experience itself. It's not about putting it on Instagram. It's not about writing it in a book. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
And that all he says is, I'm back. He doesn't say, I can't believe what happened. I'm so broken up. And I'm sure he has those conversations later.
Yeah.
But it's just, it happened. It doesn't even matter how I try to explain it. No one will ever understand it other than me.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And in a way, I think that is almost Tolkien's advice to people who go through huge transitions in life, whether it's of immense loss or a new stage in life, and are wrestling with this transition period, is you take it moment by moment, day by day. Sam just experienced the loss of his closest friend who he experienced life-altering experiences with. And he gets home and he says, okay, I'm back. And lives day by day, because that's all you can do sometimes.
Do you
Like-
feel a little bit of that right now? I mean, it's obviously you're not losing anything, you're gaining everything.
Yeah.
But do you feel that like taking it day by day, brand new? I mean, you're moving to a brand new place in Ohio. You're up in the North Farthing now. You're engaged. Things are changing. You know what I mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, and I truly mean this. I've no regrets about the decision I made, but yeah, it is like when I take a step back, it's like I have just taken a huge shift in my life. For 31 years, I've lived pretty much around the same place. I've been single for most of that. And then in a matter of 2 weeks, I got engaged and I moved 2 hours north, which, still isn't as far as maybe some people, but it's like,
Shire, that's a big deal, man.
Big
yeah,
deal.
it's just like,
It's almost Michigan,
oh, yeah.
which I'm a fan of. But
Yeah, I know.
you're
I
not,
forget.
right.
My parents, if they listen to this, they'll hate me for saying this. I'm not as phased by.
I know.
By
I
Michigan.
know you're not. I love it.
And Ann Arbor is a beautiful city. If
It's
you've never
gorgeous.
been up there,
All of
it's
Michigan's
so-
gorgeous.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's like just some truth to that. If you try, it's very easy to just obsess over the bigger picture of, okay, there's some huge changes going on in my life right now. There's a ton going on. It's easy to get stressed about. It's easy to be like, how do I process all this? How do I deal with all this?
Right.
And really, not the only, but some of the best solace and comfort you can find is finding that place of comfort, whether it's with someone or in a certain spot, be it family, your loved ones, whatever the case may be, and just say, okay, I'm here in this place now, here in the now, this is where I am, and this is where I can find peace in this moment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to focus on all the crazy stuff ahead of me, of all these unknowns, these things that how drastically my life is changing. It's here and now in this moment, I'm back in a place that brings me joy, and I'm going to focus in on that right now.
Can I just tell you?
Yeah.
That sounds like a man who's experienced it. Who knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about.
100%.
I'm serious. I love that. Because that actually, I think I need to hear that. Like, that's actually really, really good, because I'm not far-seeing. I don't know what's gonna come.
Yeah.
But I do need to just enjoy the now, and I do, and I feel like for the most part you do. But it's great to be reminded that, like, because gosh, it literally, when I think about this journey, my friendships have been rekindled.
Yeah.
It seems like it was just yesterday. It does not seem that long ago. And every time I come down here, I see Winnie, I see the kids, I see them growing up, and we've had parties and things here. We've done all. It's crazy.
It is wild.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Lane, think
I
back,
know.
like right when we start. This is crazy.
I know.
To think that far back. So I think that's good counsel. That's good wisdom. Like that's to think about those moments. Find your happiness. Find those moments where you can latch on and find joy. Whatever it may be, friendship. And I don't know. That's encouraging. So, yeah.
What do you think, man? Your turn.
Well,
You're back.
I'm back. I don't know. We have been.
I feel like we've been on a big quest. Wow, it's a blue heron.
I've been all over the place.
Holy cow! You see that?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Sorry, not to.
No.
That's a omen. That's a sign.
Oh,
That's a
100%.
sign. That's a sign. That's beautiful.
That those aren't flying elves. I don't know what is.
I wish I could describe this moment. I really do. I wish I could describe, for a second, fellas, take a look at that sky. Yeah. And we cannot
Be
describe.
full of stars in a second, man.
We cannot describe this to you. I mean, I cannot, the white blending into the blue here, the green accented, goldberry sitting over here, the fire crackling.
Peace and quiet, the birds chirping,
The
things
fellowship.
calming down, the sun setting, the light changing,
Gosh,
smells,
the smells.
sounds.
It's just I don't know. It's unreal. I don't know if Sarah was out here when we were talking about this earlier, but we brought up during this episode because this is it. I mean, this is the ending of The Lord of the Rings. We went on a quest. We set out. We stood in your kitchen. I think it's 2.5 years ago is when that conversation happened. 3 years ago is when we met in Lancaster and started talking. And then just before that, you had sent me some text, and we had started texting and talking and things. And I cannot tell you how blessed I am to have gone on this journey. I'm serious. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. I have met so many people. God, dude, it's just wild, man. It's like 2 weeks in a row where I've gotten emotional. What is her? Oh man! But
I love how you start laughing once you cry. Though it is a nice little. Yeah, it helps a little bit. No, me
crazy.
too, man. The honor has been mine. The fact that you wanted to do this, the fact that we have, obviously, that Sarah was yeah, do something crazy, guys. Go for it. Do something wild where you stay up late and you're trashed on Saturday mornings and. The fact that
she was there.
But that is my wife. My wife is
Yeah.
always whatever you want to do, I will help you however I can. And so I cannot thank my wife enough, Sarah, obviously. I can't thank you enough for being the best podcasting partner. And then not only going on this adventure, but the three of us going into Narnia and the magic that has become and how that is just you think it can't even get better and it does.
Wholesome. Some of the most wholesome conversations, best conversations I've ever had.
And you making the sacrifice to come down here every week and try things and set things up where we're on YouTube and we're doing, different types of podcasts. We do appendices stuff. We're doing all this stuff, and it's just I feel like I don't ever have to worry about coming to you with an idea and you going, I don't know. That's never happened. It's always let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Let's make it
Let's
happen.
go.
In the same way that Sarah, gives me that blessing of let's try it. Let's do it. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then all our friends who've come on, like you, Joe, who've said, I've never done this before, but I will come down, and I would count it
An honor.
there you go, an honor. Okay.
Yeah.
And something fun to experience and conversations that just because of this format, we wouldn't have the same kind of, because they're direct and they're focused and they're centered around something else, and that they live for. It sounds ridiculous, but I find so much peace knowing that these beautiful conversations, these beautiful moments are somewhere where other people can see them, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm selfish.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the fact that if I'm ever in a hard time or I'm thinking WWAD and I need to go back into a moment where the three of us are hanging out and talking, I can pick up my phone, click on an episode, and be back in that moment. I can go onto YouTube, I can click on an episode, and I can be there. And that for me is really special, because I think we do capture magic.
Oh, yeah.
I think we do. And I think that's what uppers love about it. And people are friends. And people who, even for a little portion of this, enjoy this podcast. I think that's what they recognize. And it's just, honestly, it's beyond us. It's like when you learn in these stories about the light and the water and the wind. And that there are powers far greater than us working. and it's just a sign of that, and it's a reflection of that. So yeah, I mean, dude, it's been crazy. Like, I'm sitting here looking at this book and it's closed, and I'm thinking every week it's like, well, what chapter do I read? And sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it's like, geez, man, I can't keep up. Like, what chapter this week? And I'm looking at that book and I'm thinking, what chapter next week? I want another chapter. Like, it's so funny. You get, because I'm sure there were times that Frodo and Sam felt that way too, of just, hey, here we go again. Maybe not, because that wasn't probably as enjoyable, right? But they had moments along the way where they found joy. Think about Ithilien and the garden that was. I think about moments like Rivendell, these good experiences they had along the way, and it's just like, wow, I should have appreciated that a little bit more. But yeah, so it's pretty wild, man. It definitely has reflected, I feel like, a quest.
Do you feel like it's been complete? Do you feel like, I know there's more to come, and as long as
this is a
you're
benchmark,
willing,
this is a milestone.
But
I think.
yes,
I really
I was
truly
talking
feel that
to
way.
Joe. I said, Joe, the crazy thing is you're here at the end, but you're at the beginning as well.
Yeah.
Because we
Well,
talked
think about Frodo. That's like Frodo, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Because there are more things we want to do. Like, it's family. It really this is family. Like, I come down here, I'm Uncle Ez, you're Uncle Joe. Like, that's what it's about. I hope people get that. That's what this is all about. And it's life. It's a journey. It's an adventure. You guys are here. The listeners are with us.
Yeah.
And it's a fellowship. You've come on this journey. We got a chance to write some motivational, like, quotes and some stuff in people's books, and that's a connection we were making. We talked about it last week, and like, I look forward to more of that as long as we can and stuff. And again, it does take some sacrifice. I mean, again, I will say that Sarah literally helps us so much, and like doing Narnia and all this. Like, I don't know. I do want to say this here at the end. There's so much.
Come on, turn around. Spin them. Show them the other side. Michael Scott.
But there's so much that goes into it. And I think Lane's right. There were times where basically you were like, wow. Because school would get tough or things would happen. Yeah. Work would catch up to you. And you're like, man.
And there's always that like unspoken pressure too. It's like, we are hobbits and we're goofballs.
That's right.
And that's our spin, and that's what we enjoy doing. We love having fun with this because it is fun.
Yes.
And it should be fun.
Oh yeah.
But we also want to make sure that we're adding something
substance.
Yes, something constructive and something that people go, huh, haven't really thought of that before. These guys are goofy and ridiculous, but that's kind of an interesting point. And so the burden to find those and to be able to remember them and hang on to them and write them down or put them in a doc or underline a line or remember to elaborate on a point. And then even in the moments to make sure that, hey, we're not busy just thinking of our own thoughts, that we're listening to each other.
Yeah.
That I can listen to him and go, holy cow, I never thought of that. Oh, and that made me think of this. So it's truly trying to operate like a book club where it's you're with each other and to everyone.
That's why it's 2.5 hours sometimes.
Exactly.
4.
It's like just and everyone who joins in this journey with us, like, we thank you so much. Without uppers, it certainly wouldn't have the far-reaching impact that it has, and just I don't know, the expanded joy of it all.
True.
So
that's true.
So we want to thank all of you, obviously, for sure. Wow. Well, I was thinking for Tolkien stories this week, we would hear yours.
Mine, yeah.
Is that cool?
I would love that.
So we need in the Bywater Post. We've got Joe Lewis telling us his origins in the Middle Earth, how he got into Tolkien.
Yes. Okay, so this.
And you can't go too long. That's an understanding that you talk as long as you want.
Okay, so it really kind of started for me when I was in 8th grade. This is like first year not being homeschooled.
Okay.
So, I was homeschooled.
Didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I was a cool kid. And in 8th grade, I went to this private school with a class of like 10 people. And I had this friend, I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but I'll maybe, do a shout out. His name is Michael Radigan.
Okay.
He lives in Florida right now. He loved, I think he still does. He loved Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I did not know what was cool and what was not cool because I was homeschooled. And this guy is like in 8th grade, probably like 5'10", like grown man size, super tall, super athletic, but he loved Lord of the Rings. And I was like, I don't know what's cool, but you seem like a cool guy. And so I'm going to like Lord of the Rings too.
Right.
So he and I, we went to all the midnight premieres of the movies together. In 8th grade, he like told me all about Lord of the Rings. I tried to read it. I'm guilty to say that I didn't finish it all the way because I wasn't as much of a reader. But I got excited about the Tolkien universe through the movies.
Sure, yeah.
And so this is kind of nerdy, but like in 8th grade, we learned Elvish phrases and like made Elvish nicknames, like insult nicknames for like the people in our class that we didn't like.
Yeah.
So there's this really short guy that we called Penilyamin, which means little one. And I like learned, there's some of them that I still remember, like Iluvaseralin Latair, which means Lord of the Universe bless you, which I was like, oh that's
my
so
gosh.
cool.
Well, and your linguistic
And then-
connection that
yeah.
you were a Spanish major.
And then like Fakita ir ala tayurukar, which means curse you, you big cheesehead. And it was just like nobody. That isn't as epic, but like you
That's
know.
pretty
wait,
awesome.
so I need to pause for a second because we need to have you on the next time we have Jimmy Nichols on
Oh, I would love
and
that.
talk about the linguist.
Oh yeah,
That'll
I
be a
would
fun
nature
love
of-
that.
episode.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it was like that was my introduction. It was a person who was passionate about this, who loved the world that Tolkien had created. And then I watched these movies with him, and partly because of his passion and also because I have just always been a huge movie fan, I was just entranced by this world. Just in watching the movies. I mean, I remember in middle school, mostly in high school, just watching these movies over and over and over again, being like, I could quote the entire movie. I watched the extended editions, like marathons, multiple times. Just absolutely loved them.
Right.
And I, it was such an honor. This is where I might get a little emotional. A few years back, I remember when you two were like, hey, we're going to start this podcast. I was like, what? That's so cool. And I was like, even though I haven't read the books, this is so cool. This is something you guys are passionate about. I think this is awesome. And it was this huge honor to me when Lane was like, hey, we're going to have this festival that's going to be set up like a long expected party, and we want you to be Bilbo. And I was like, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Lane knows my love of like playing different characters. So I like read the
You should be in Hollywood, like
Oh yeah.
being a movie star.
No,
is what
seriously.
you should be doing.
Oh my gosh, but I love
Could be.
this. I listened to the dramatization of The Hobbit, and I picked up different things of like, this is how I would play Bilbo, and that's how Bilbo was created. I listened to different things and watched different interpretations. I was like, Bilbo back in this is actual say this, and just I loved it. I loved it, and getting to reprise that role this past September was just a blast. There's things that I fully plan on doing as long as you will have me back to do every year and just add to it.
Yeah.
And even just, oh my gosh, the honor of being able to come here for this last chapter and reading my first chapter of Lord of the Rings as the last chapter.
That's so cool.
And just
Yeah,
the
that's so cool.
sheer poetry of that, of being like, this is where I start. And I fully plan to read through the entire book after this, just getting a small taste of the beauty that is Tolkien's writing. And, I just, speaking as someone who has been directly affected by just the wonder and closeness of this podcast and of this work of art that you guys have created, like speaking for everyone else who listens to this and who has been touched by this podcast, like, thank you guys. Like, this has just been such an amazing community of people that I've gotten to meet and connect with. And even in telling them, like, I haven't really read the books, I really love the movies, of like, it's not something to be ashamed of or put yourself down. Like,
You know
it's so
Elvish, my
fun.
friend. You know
Yeah,
Elvish.
like-
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
"Ye dear Lord, that here."
I just
like,
like, this is this is my people. This is a community
Yeah.
of people. That's such just a positive environment to be around, and to say that like you guys created this group, that you guys created a community of people over a common love of the works of Tolkien is something that you guys should be so proud of, and is really a testament to just the amazing job that you guys have done of creating this podcast, creating a community of people over a united fandom, but even more than that, of a family that can join together and just be at ease with each other. I just think is such a beautiful thing. So thank you guys. Thank you for creating this. Thank you for including me in this journey. It's just been such an honor to see as it's progressed over the past 2.5 years, and to be privileged enough to be a part of it in different aspects has just been such a privilege and honor to me. And so that's been my Tolkien journey.
Well, it's clear two
That's-
things after you said that. A, thank you for your kind words.
Oh yeah, of course.
We did not pay or tell Joe to say any of that stuff.
We did feed him. We did feed him.
We did feed him, so it may have been persuaded a little bit, but definitely not overtly. But also, like, Joe needs a podcast.
I'm telling you.
Did you hear that?
Yes,
Like, that was,
yes.
dude. You just inspired me, man. I
I-
mean, just you're such a good speaker.
Oh, thank you.
You're so entertaining. I have to share a memory as you're talking about like your love for acting and stuff, preparing for Bill Joe. I'll never forget. I don't remember what play it was at the NAS, but it's the only NAS play I went to go watch, and it's because you were in it, and we had just become friends. So I'm like, Joe Lewis is in that thing. I'll go check it out. And he's on stage playing some kind of role. He's got a top hat and a cane and a vest, and something happens where he does a real quick move, and boop, bang, out of his pocket and on the floor pops his cell phone.
Yeah.
And the improvisational master that he is, he doesn't go, oh, dang it, my phone. I quit. No, I can't remember if it was your foot or your cane.
yeah.
But you reach out and slide it off stage and continue acting.
Wow.
And it was a perfect, and he goes, the face was great. He goes, whoop, almost like the character was going, whoops, what's this crazy magnificence from the future? And it was such a clean stroke. That no one even, it was,
That's
people
crazy.
died laughing. I thought, this young man has
Is
the
a
power
genius.
to
Yeah.
make a possibly and almost definitely embarrassing moment one where everyone, instead of them laughing at him, he had them laughing.
right. Yeah,
And I
he's
was
clutch.
like, that is Joe Lewis in a snapshot. That's who he
Thank
is.
you.
He inspires you. He brings joy. He brings love. I thought you were giving me a fist bump. That's like
that moment.
that's the opposite.
There's no
of
sliding
what
of the cell
he
phone
did.
there.
I was like, sure. Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway,
Thank
just,
you. Thank
yeah.
you,
So
my friend.
it had to end this way. There was no other way it could end. And
That's our-
I know, dude.
our
I know. And the
It's a
first
Bilbo.
year, it was hilarious because it was the first LEP was small.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were there, you remember, right? And people didn't necessarily. They were like, "What's this? Is this guy?" So who is he? Is he because it wasn't the same kind of fanfare as year
Exactly.
two. But the beautiful thing was, by the end of it, they were like, "Oh, this is great." And then year two, it was like, "Guys, Bill Joe's coming," and everyone knew what that
That's
meant.
right. That's
Either
right.
you were there the year before, or you had heard about Bill Joe Baggins coming, and it was like you became a mascot for the party, a living character within
Yeah.
2 years, and it was so cool.
So
So
much
yeah.
fun.
yeah, however that continues in the future, you're contractually obligated. I don't know if you know this, but
Oh,
one
it's-
night I
right.
had you
Yeah.
sign
You
something in
signed
blood.
Of course, yeah.
So
We had some golden perch in there, and he just, there he is. We got him.
is he under a tree somewhere? So, but no, that is our honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro. Well, we already did strawberries with cream. This is the end of it, guys.
This is
There's nothing
I know.
left to say.
it.
The ship is sailing off into the distance, and there's three of us looking at. Oh no, that's Sarah. Wow, she's beautiful. Okay,
Wow.
Sam, you didn't have that ending, did you, pal?
Hey.
You had to go home to Rosie.
Oh, okay.
I'm already home.
You're already home.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how can so the next journey, right? We're gonna have a couple bonus episodes that come out after this.
Yeah,
we're gonna have more stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
I would say there's no real schedule yet on those. When we have time, we did kind of, and again, thanks again to Joe, honestly, for coming. This has been amazing.
Big time, man.
I love you, buddy. I really love you.
Too,
and
man.
this is,
Love you.
I told him I cannot wait for the show to come out, to do more stuff, to do YouTube stuff, to do the Hobbit. We're gonna have him back for the Hobbit.
Oh yeah.
We're doing MeTube stuff too.
Yeah, that's sure we are. Sure you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, the schedule, I guess, just so friends know, going forward, we'll have a couple bonus episodes. We got some fun ideas there, which we will do. We're going to take a break, though. We actually are going to take a little bit of a break. Lane and Sarah are having baby number 3.
Crotch fruit number 3.
Crotch fruit number 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Cannot wait for that. And
Tomorrow.
I'm excited. It's tomorrow, according
Jeezy,
to...
please, Lord, no. I told him I need some sleep.
Joe knows. He said boy and tomorrow, so here we go. Hey, Sarah, I asked Winnie today, and she said, I said, are you guys having a boy or a girl? And she said, a boy and a girl. Yeah, and I was like, all right. So there's that. There's that to look forward to. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, just the update there, I guess, Lane, is just that we're going to take a break. I'm not really sure how long. I know maybe before the summer or when we get, we'll let you guys know on Facebook. You can follow us there. Make sure you follow us on Facebook for all those updates. We talked about this last week. In last week's episode, we kind of said follow us on Instagram and Twitter at UpTalkingTolkien. I know a lot of people maybe aren't on social media, so I don't exactly know when the next episode will be out. I'll try to put a date down once we discuss it. We just kind of have to see. We got to see what happens with, yeah.
Yeah, baby. And then the next time we're into a read through, it'll be a reread for you. It'll be a first time for me, at least second half of the book anyway. I mean, I made it through parts of it, but not all the way. Will be the Hobbit. So
yes, the Hobbit.
Our I guess our
up.
path forward here is into the Hobbit, and then after the Hobbit is finished, I think we calculated. We reckon about 6 months for the Hobbit at safe estimate. So once that's done, so we would be looking at beginning of 2021. We're into the Silmarillion. So we're going from the Hobbit right back to the beginning of all things. We're working our way backwards into the First Age and trying to figure out what exactly all the singing is about, and who is the god and goddess of who, and
the legends of Tom
Maiar,
Bombadil.
Valar, and Tommy B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how he started this whole thing.
Yep. What?
What'd you say?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare go there yet. That's an afterwards conversation. So yeah, friends, that's the update. That's the schedule moving forward. There will be a ton of YouTube content, though. We really actually have a really cool plan for some pretty neat. I think our Zoom calls, and you know what?
Get him on the horn.
We're gonna be Zoom.
Get him on the horn.
I'd love to set this up. So it's nice because
we would do a Lost Sock episode too. Would be great with Joe.
Oh, I would love so.
Okay, all right.
By the way, I want to mention too our
I do love socks a lot.
we've not mentioned this. So there are going to be
changes on Patreon.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple weeks back, but there are some changes. There will be unexpected rewards. There will be unexpected rewards.
Wait, I thought we were using the word expected now. We're changing the name to an expected podcast.
Right, and now we're going with unexpected rewards. No, so one of the things that we are putting on there, though, the Lost Sock podcast is exclusive for upper tier patrons. So I will post a link for that.
So how about that, guys? On Patreon, you can have access to an entire
exclusive
podcast.
Yep.
So it's just for us. It seems like and we don't have to go into tons of detail, but might feel anticlimactic. PJ thought some of these chapters were, but we just thought it was a much more manageable, realistic, quick way to get you guys bonus stuff, extras, and stuff that it seems like most people liked. T-shirts and stuff we'll continue to do probably on a more irregular basis. It's just a lot of
unexpected.
Like the pregnancy.
Although I do have a plan.
Didn't expect that.
I do have something, but Huh? What?
Oh yeah, Crick Hollow College, 1420.
There's something coming. Don't worry.
Eat, drink, and be merry, or Pippin if you want.
Yeah.
But that'll be more irregular, just because it's not. We focus on quality, right? And so to get what we consider good stuff takes a little bit of wheeling and dealing.
It
That
does.
sounds shady. It takes a lot of coordination is what I'm trying to say.
It does take a lot of
It
coordination.
does, and a lot of time, and then shipping and all this extra stuff. So,
But we have plans for that.
yeah.
We'll get back to you on that.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, no, but I like we have exclusive Patreon content, YouTube content. We have a couple other fun things that we're going to try to do. I'm looking at some hangouts, possibly, so that
Cool.
we're going to do. So if you're still on Discord, I'll be doing some hangouts on there.
Okay.
Just
I
kind
like
of
it.
talking and things like that. So it's going to be a little bit of a break. I want people to know that. I want them to know there's a little bit of a break. Landon and Ezra are still here, and we are. There's going to be a lot going on.
Lot going on.
Just get ready for another adventure, my friends.
A lot of knocks on your front door and dwarves piling in.
When the Gollum game comes out, I might open a Twitch account.
Just got a Twitch.
So
We'll have a
just-
sub podcast for that.
I'm telling you right
That'd
now.
be a sub podcast.
We got to have. There's something else.
Bill, Joe, and Gollum.
We're going to talk about this afterwards because I have
Riddles in the Twitch.
plans. Come on.
Ooh, okay.
Damn, that doesn't
That-
sound right.
That started off great.
Twitch is in the dark.
We'll get there.
Oh, all of a sudden y'all are experts, huh? Okay. All right. Well,
But-
that's expected. We want to thank you for joining us on the final chapter of this epic journey that has been the Lord of the Rings. Well, actually, the downfall of the Lord of the Rings and the Return of the King.
Of course.
I want to acknowledge Bilbo's Frodo's original title. It's been an amazing journey, but we look forward to the rest of the journeys. This is not the end. It is an end, but it's also a beginning for much, much, much more. Next time, we'll be digging into The Hobbit. And who wants to say it?
Oh,
Wait, with the whistle.
is it-
What's your line?
whose line? Whose line is it?
Yeah, if you want
Whose
to
line
send
is it anyway?
It's yours. And then he'll
If you like our podcast, which clearly, if you're listening until this point, I always kind of think like maybe you do like the podcast.
You trailed off by
or you
now.
fell asleep and you're
Oh,
waking
yeah,
up to this.
You left it on. It's just still on. Oh my
This is
gosh,
so yeah.
crazy. But no, if you like our podcast, don't forget to like, subscribe, write a review on iTunes, send us a Shadowfax at an whoa.
No, dude.
What's the phrase?
Jeezy, how many times have we done
Send
this?
us an email.
Or a...
Shadowfax.
It's his first time.
And remember, we'll see you whenever we see you. And remember...
Frodo lives.